Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the May 21st, 2025 meeting of the Daytona Beach City Commission. We're happy and delighted to have each of you with us. Madam Clerk, may we please have a roll call?
Commissioner Strickland? Here. Commissioner May? Here. Commissioner Cantu? Here. Commissioner Henry? Here. Commissioner Reed? Here.
Honorable Mayor, Commissioners, Commissioner Parrish would ask for you all to be excused tonight because of a illness.
Okay.
Motion to excuse Commissioner Parrish.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to, well, maybe we should finish the roll call.
Mayor Derek L. Henry?
Here.
Okay.
So we have everyone accounted for. May I have a motion?
Yes, sir, so moved.
Second.
All right, we'll take a motion and a second to excuse the Commissioner of Paris. All those in favor, let it be noted by saying aye.
Aye.
Those in opposition, same sign. Motion carries 6-0.
Okay.
We'll now have the invocation, which will be led by Commissioner Reed, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Commissioner Strickland. Please rise for the invocation and Pledge of Allegiance.
Bless the Lord, O my soul, and all that's within me. Bless his holy name. For the Lord is good, and his mercy endureth forever. On this day, Lord, we say thank you. Thank you for life. Thank you for health. Thank you for strength. Thank you for eyes to see, ears to hear, a nose to breathe, a mouth to speak, and hands to reach out and to help someone. And tonight, as we gather, Lord, we pray that the decisions we make will be of benefit to the citizens and visitors of this city, that we will honor our families and you as we sit here on behalf of 82,000 plus individuals. We grant, Lord, peace, love, and shelter for those who have nowhere to rest their heads. We pray for those who sacrifice their lives on a daily basis that we might be safe. And Lord, tonight we lift up those that are grieving the loss of a loved one. And we just pray that on this Memorial Day weekend, that as we remember those who made the greatest sacrifice of all, and those that are still living, who also provided their lives for us, that you would bless each and every one of them and their loved ones as well. We'll be careful to give you all the glory, all the honor, and all the praise, because you're so very worthy. In the mighty and matchless name of Jesus, I pray. Let us all say, Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll now move on to item number 4, which is approval of the minutes of the April 16, 2025 City Commission meeting. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion, Commissioner May, and a second from Commissioner Strickland. All right, do we have any questions or comments? All right, all those in favor, let it be noted by saying aye.
Aye.
Those in opposition, same sign. This motion carries 6-0. We'll now move on to agenda item number 4, approval of our minutes, April 16th meeting. I'm sorry. We'll move on to agenda item number 5, which is city manager with our changes, if there are any changes.
Yes, Honorable Mayor, Commissioners, we do have some changes. Item number 8B, City Manager's Office Mayoral Zone Support Fund Distribution at $3,000 from Commissioner Strickland for the Boys and Girls Club of Volusia Flagler. Add $1,000 to the city's tennis program from Commissioner Henry. Item number 8C, City Manager's Office Sesquicentennial Ambassador Committee. Commissioner Ken Strickland would like to nominate Sue Odino, and Commissioner Danette Henry would like to nominate Mary McCoy to the committee. That concludes the changes.
I move that we accept the agenda with the said changes.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second concerning the agenda. All those in favor, let it be noted by saying aye.
Aye.
Those in opposition, same sign. This motion carries 6-0.
Okay, we're going to move on to item number 6, which is our presentations. And item 6A is a proclamation to the Brownie Girl Scout Troop presented by Mayor Derek L. Henry.
As a classroom teacher, I often said it's a great day to be among the living. And as the mayor, every day that you are the mayor is a good day. However, today is an exceptionally great day. I just had the pleasure of meeting with young ladies from Brownie Girl Scout Troop 1503. And they met in my office prior to the meeting. These young ladies asked insightful, thought-provoking questions. They had great manners, great enthusiasm, and as you'll see in just a moment, they're absolutely adorable. So today I would like to read and share a proclamation honoring them and encouraging them to continue the great work that they do. Brownie Girl Scout Troop 1503, Democracy for Brownies Badge. Whereas the Girl Scout movement began on March 12, 1912, when Juliet Daisy Gordon Lowe, a native of Savannah, Georgia, organized a group of 18 girls, provided them with the opportunity to develop physically, intellectually, socially, and spiritually. And whereas Girl Scouts offers girls 21st century programming in science, technology, engineering, and math, the outdoors, entrepreneurship, and beyond, helping girls develop invaluable life skills through the Girl Scout leadership experience. And whereas today more than 50 million women trailblazers, visionaries, and leaders are Girl Scout alums who embody the Girl Scout mission every day. And whereas March 12, 2025 marked the 113th anniversary of Girl Scouts of the United States of America, whose mission is to build Girl Scouts of courage, confidence, and character, who make the world a better place. And whereas Girl Scout Troop 1503 is a group of dedicated brownies who are learning about democracy and civic engagement through municipal government meetings. Now, therefore, I, Derek L. Henry, Mayor of the City of Daytona Beach, and on behalf of the City Commission, do proudly hereby proclaim the month of May 2025 as Brownie Girl Scout Troop 1503 Democracy for Brownies Badge in the City of Daytona Beach, Florida. Throughout the past few years, their commitment to making our community a better place reminds us all that little girls can still make a big difference. We commend their effort and look forward to the bright future they're helping to build. Ladies, you are awesome. We did give them a little baggie. Bring your bags with you if you want. We'll include that in the picture. You got one too.
Okay.
Right here. Oh, you're not. I'm sorry. Okay. Let's look over here first. And let's look right here.
Awesome.
Now, one more.
Right there, he's over here.
He's
Up.
Over this way.
Come around this way. There you go. Turn all the way around. There you go. They ask questions like, what's your favorite part about being the mayor? Where do you like to go in the city? The questions were just insightful and on point. And then one of them told me that the best part of their day was meeting me. And that's Thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
And looking forward to when they go to high school, we do have a youth advisory council, so, for the city of Daytona Beach.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Good job. Good job. She is something. She's something. But her sister was something. They both got it.
Okay, we're going to move on to our second presentation, which is the Public Works Department Beautification Tree Advisory Board Awards. A member of the Beautification Tree Advisory Board to present.
That's me. Mayor Henry, members of the commission, and Mr. Fiacher. My name is Sharon Weatherholtz, and I represent Zone 1 on the Beautification and Tree Board. The board has selected Mr. and Mrs. Brian Case of 942 North Wild Olive, Daytona Beach, as the Residential Beautification Award winner for the month of May 2025. And we're looking at the pictures now. Good. Brian and Joyce have been residents of Daytona for 24 years and have resided at this address for many years. The house was built in 1939 for the Dubrau family, which owned Dobie's clothing store on the corner of Beach and ISB, which I think you have to have lived here a while to know that one. The house is built with clothes in mind. All the closets are cedar lined, including built-in cedar blanket closet. Other features of the home include cypress ceilings, mosaic tile floors, curved walls, eyebrow arches, and the bathroom has the original stainless steel shower door. Brian and Joyce take care of all their landscaping maintenance and beautification. The type of trees, shrubs, and plants used for beautification include agapanthus, plumbago, purple heart, oyster plants, Moses in the cradle, giant liriope, wandering Jew, giant bird of paradise, iliads, chase tree, sour grapes, spider plants, ponytail palm, Spanish bayonet, alocasia, fishtail palms, corn plant, dracaena, tractor seat plant, Thai plants, crinum lilies, oleanders, and plumeria. City Commissioner Ken Strickland, Zone 2, will present the award. Ms. Ross, please. Do you help?
No, I got it.
Okay.
I'm having to learn to use my left hand. Certificate of Achievement. May it be known that this certificate has been presented to Brian and Joyce Case for distinguished achievement in the residential beautification in the city of Daytona Beach. There you go, folks. Your yard looks beautiful. I was by there yesterday.
Yeah, you need a photograph taken.
This case?
I'm sorry.
Colonel Merrill?
Are we supposed to take a picture?
He's right there.
Okay.
With Ken.
With Ken? How'd you break your arm?
Okay.
No, okay, sorry.
I'll tell you later.
Sorry.
And then 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
All right. Hey, thank y'all very much.
Thank you all.
Okay, we're going to move on to item number 7, which is citizen comments. During this time, citizens have the opportunity to address the City Commission on any item on the consent agenda. Our first speaker is Vernon Weatherholtz, and on deck is John Nicholson.
Vernon Weatherholt, I live in Granville Circle. And this item here kind of caught my attention. I thought that the city had a patching contract before, but maybe I was wrong. I think it's a good idea. to hire someone. I know the utility department needs help in all the digging that they've been doing. And I was a little surprised by the 22% increase over Orlando Utilities contract. That I always thought that they had a pretty good contract. I don't know the reason why, but that kind of caught my attention. And I know all throughout the city, the utility department has been doing a lot of repairs, and they need some adjustment. I know the manholes are growing around here, and I'd like to maybe take a little attention to Peninsula Drive. Driving over here to the commission tonight, it needs some help, so maybe we could get some over on Beachside. Thank you.
Okay, our next speaker is John Nicholson.
John Nicholson, 413 North Cranberry Avenue. Items I, J, M, O, and R. I is the fence at Bethune Field number 1. I drive by that every Sunday morning. I don't see anything wrong with it. I don't think anything wrong with either of the fences. I meant to walk it, but I didn't this past Sunday. But I wonder, why are we replacing it? If nobody ran into it and it's not rusting, why? J is landscape. Are any of these landscape that we're handing out, is any of these contracts for beachside? If they are, would you kindly ask them or instruct them to be a little bit more careful on maintaining? The maintenance that we have now is the pits, bare grass, trash in the A1A when we had it. But now that we're going to have the FDOT new ziggurats and whatnot that they're having, we'll have more landscaping, and with it, God only knows how much trash will accumulate in the middle. While we're redoing the electric on the band shell, could we have the shell itself lighted at night? Because when you're walking down the boardwalk, it's really impressive if you ever see that lit. And if we could light it at night, either in a rose or a pink or some attractive eye, it brings your eye to the band shell. It really enhances the look of the boardwalk. On the O, free land, I don't know how much land we're giving away. I think it said 3. I wouldn't swear to it. But is it indicating that from this point on, the land will be given away without the public knowledge? Or will we be note in the future that when you're giving away land, it will be published in some sort? The backup material it just said that it's going to be done in-house, and I think it said 3 people were getting land, but it didn't say how many lots or whatnot. And lastly, everybody's talking about the fluoride. Didn't we have this guy like 15 years ago come every single meeting wanting us to get rid of fluoride? I don't remember us removing fluoride, but I do thought we did an ozone thing that it did some kind of light that did the same thing as chloride. So I think we already match what the governor wants. If not, could you tell us whether we need to remove it or not? Thank you.
We do. Jim Schultz was his name.
Yeah.
That was my final speaker for the consent agenda.
All right. Do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Yes, sir.
We'll take a motion from Commissioner May and a second from Commissioner Reed. All right, no questions? And all those in favor, let it be noted by saying aye.
Aye.
Those in opposition, same sign. Motion carries 6-0.
Okay, we're going to move on to our public hearings and quasi-judicial hearings. Our first item is item 9A. It's a Growth Management Planning Department, 518 Fentress Boulevard, Place of Worship, Place of worship special use permit. This is a resolution public hearing. A resolution authorizing a special use permit to allow for a place of worship use in an existing industrial development on 5.44 plus or minus acres of land located at 518 Fentress Boulevard in the M4 Industrial Park Zoning District in accordance with 3.4.g and 5.2.b.13.e of the Land Development Code and providing an effective date.
So move.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Motion from Commissioner Cantu, second from Commissioner May.
And I do have Jessica Gao here on behalf of the applicant for any questions.
No problems. Okay. All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, let it be noted by saying aye.
Aye.
Those who are opposed, same sign. Motion carries 7-0.
Okay, moving on to item 9B, it's Growth Management Planning Department. First Amendment, Interstate 95, LPGA Boulevard, PD. This is an ordinance on second reading, quasi-judicial hearing. An ordinance approving the First Amendment to the Interstate 95, LPGA Boulevard Retail Plan District Agreement to modify the standards for special events within the Plan District, authorizing the mayor and the city clerk to execute the First Amendment and providing an effective date.
So move.
All right, we have a motion from Commissioner Cantu and a second from Commissioner May.
And I do have Mr. Rob Merrill here on behalf of the applicant for any questions.
All right, no questions. All right, all those in favor, let it be noted by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 6-0.
Okay. We're going to move on to item 9C. It is the Growth Management Planning Department, Second Amendment to the Walmart Supercenter Sam's Club Planned Commercial Development. This is an ordinance on second reading, quasi-judicial hearing. An ordinance approving the Second Amendment to the Walmart Supercenter Sam's Club Planned Commercial Development Agreement to modify certain standards relating to parking, maximum building coverage, and signage within the planned district, authorizing the mayor and the city clerk to execute the Second Amendment, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, and providing an effective date.
So move.
We have a motion from Commissioner Cantu and a second from Commissioner May. If there are no questions, all those.
No speakers.
Do we have anyone in the audience from Walmart representing? Can I
Well,
speak
yeah,
to
of course.
Can I speak to you?
And if you'll just state your name for the record.
Yes, my name is Kyle Zoner with CPH Engineering.
Hi. First of all, Walmart has done an amazing job along with our staff. And it worries me because I've lived over in there for decades and it was bad. And it looks amazing now. And so when we approve this, it's going to stay the way it is now, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You can guarantee me that.
Yes.
On the record.
I've worked with a lot of Walmarts all over Florida. We are working to improve all the conditions all over because
Yeah,
a
it's
lot of them are in
amazing.
rough shape from Jacksonville, Miami to Daytona. So we're working really hard to get them all.
It's nice to have a great Walmart just like Port
Yeah,
Orange and Ormond
definitely.
now. So I thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay.
All right, thank you. All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, let it be noted by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 7-0.
6-0.
6-0.
We're going to move on to item 9D. It's a Growth Management Planning Department, 129 Marion Street, Small Scale Comprehensive Plan Amendment. This is an ordinance on second reading, public statutes. With regard to 0.59 plus or minus acres of property located at 129 Marion Street, amending the future land use map designation for this property from commercial transitional to local service industrial, amending the future land use element neighborhood H development policy to allow for limited industrial uses and other uses compatible with the surrounding area, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, and providing an effective date.
So moved. Second.
We take a motion from Commissioner Cantu and a second from Commissioner Strickland. Is Henry? All right, Henry and Strickland.
And I do have Mr. Merrill here on behalf of the applicant for any questions.
Okay.
No
then-
other speakers.
No questions? All right, all those in favor, let it be noted by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 6-0.
Okay. Moving on to item 9E, it's a Growth Management Planning Department, 129 Marion Street Plan Development Redevelopment. This is an ordinance on second reading, quasi-judicial hearing. An ordinance amending the zoning map of the Land Development Code to rezone 0.59 plus or minus acres of property located at 129 Marion Street from redevelopment Midtown Neighborhood Transition Mixed Use to Plan Development Redevelopment, approving the 129 Marion Street Industrial Plan District Agreement to allow for communication, healthcare, animal care, business support service, office, retail, and industrial uses with associated site improvements, authorizing the mayor and the city clerk to execute the agreement, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, and providing an effective date.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion from Commissioner Strickland, and we'll take a second from Commissioner May.
Okay, and I do have Mr. Rob Mayoral here on behalf of the applicant for any questions and no additional speakers.
All right. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, let it be noted by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. This motion carries 7-0.
Okay. I'm going to move on to item 9F. It's a Growth Management Planning Department LDC text amendment, stacking spaces and temporary fencing. This is an ordinance on second reading, public hearing. An ordinance amending the Land Development Code, Article 6, Section 6.2 and 6.8, to modify stacking space requirements for gated driveways and temporary fencing requirements for active construction sites, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, and providing an effective date.
So moved.
Second.
All right, we take a motion from Commissioner Reed and a second from Commissioner May. Do you have any questions or comments?
And I have no speakers for this item, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. All those in favor, let it be noted by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 6-0.
Okay, we're going to move on to item 9G. It's a Growth Management Planning Department, Tomoka Farms Road Department. This is a voluntary annexation. This is an ordinance on second reading, public hearing. An ordinance annexing into the city of Daytona Beach 20.20 plus acres of land generally located west of Tomoka Farms Road along the south side of West International Speedway Boulevard, redefining the territorial boundaries of the city of Daytona Beach to include the property, redesignating the boundaries of Zone 4 of the city of Daytona Beach to include the property, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, and providing an effective date.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second? Second. Okay. We have a motion and a second. All right.
Okay, and I do have speakers for this item, Mr. Mayor. I don't know if you wanted to take the speaker first before Mr. Mayoral presents, or...
I think traditionally we let the applicant speak first, if that's okay with you guys.
I don't care. You can go ahead. I don't know about tradition, but go ahead.
Rob Mayoral for the record with Cobb Cole, 1 Daytona Boulevard. I'm here to speak in part because I have Matt Green with the Green Organization. They're new to our area. Wanted to introduce them and let you guys know who they are, what they've done elsewhere, and hopefully welcome them to the community to become part of our business community here in Daytona Beach. This one is fairly straightforward in the sense that we've been through over a year back and forth with the city staff on all of the things that come up in development projects, utility, flooding issues, road issues, traffic, and all that sort of thing. And I think we've gotten very successfully through both the TRT process, which resulted in a lot of things that we changed about this project as a result of input that we got from those folks. And the planning board unanimously recommended approval. We had a neighborhood meeting. Folks came and were supportive for the most part of the project. I know there's been some conversation about, traffic, how new residential communities affect traffic, and the way we're sort of feeling some growing pains, especially out at LPGA. We all feel it. I know Mayor, you and some of the others who live out in that area feel it, certainly. So we did, I think, a very thorough job, and I've got our traffic engineer here with us, and Manny can come up and speak to you guys if you have particular questions. But I will say that this is going to be going through the process of concurrency, which is really where the rubber meets the road, if you will, as it relates to transportation impacts. But at this point in the process, now we have three things on your agenda. The first one is annexation. So the question is, do you want this county property to be city property? Would you like to have control over the regulatory aspects of the property? Would you like to have the tax base that comes from this property? It's surrounded, in the most part now, by county. by city, I mean. So we actually, in accordance with the state statutes, are reducing an existing enclave of county property that's got city all around it, which is something that the state statutes actually promote. So there's a legal reason we're here, but there's also a business reason. We want to be in the city of Daytona Beach. So with that, I guess I would say, any questions that you have for Chris Rowley from Zev Cohen, has engineering expertise in this area. We have a wetland that's adjacent, that abuts the Tomoka River. So we have the riparian habitat protection zone adjacent to the property that we're preserving. We've gone to great lengths to make sure the property was designed around that. We also, in meeting with your transportation folks, actually originally the project was to be fronting on ISB solely. We were encouraged by them to find a way to get access also through Tomoka Farms Road. We acquired additional property for that purpose and some additional units. For the most part, it was to gain access. So we now have 2 places that we access, Tomoka Farms Road and ISB, and a second emergency access on ISB. So we, belt and suspenders, made sure that there was going to be connectivity in a way that the project from a transportation standpoint was safe and flowed properly. So your transportation expert and ours have come to agreement on that. So one other thing I'll mention is, Tomoka Farms Road, I think, is we have things coming to the south. We know that. And so in light of the idea of reducing the amount of driveways and impacts on Tomoka Farms Road, we came up with an agreement with the adjoining property owners to have a joint access so that it's basically a frontage road, so there's only one curb cut. And that was something the city staff also encouraged us to do. A little bit cumbersome to try to do that among 2 private property owners, but that's been done, and it's part of the approval when you get to the 3rd agenda item, which is the plan development. So first item is, we'd love to be in your city, so hopefully you guys will accept us. I'm going to allow Matt to tell you a little about who he is and what his company's like, and then you guys can decide whether you want to be part of Daytona Beach. Okay. Matt?
Thank you, everyone. Hi, my name is Matt Green. I'm from the Green Organization, and my father and I work together at the Green Organization. And we traditionally have done developments throughout Buffalo, New York, and it's a smaller town, just kind of like Daytona Beach. And we've done lots of really nice housing where we put, granite countertops in. We put, vinyl flooring throughout. All the finishes are higher end, and something that we've been doing in Buffalo that we kind of want to expand into this market with is trying to do an affordable component with the project where we can develop these nice finishes and have a great product for the marketplace, and then also make it affordable for people to live at. So we're looking to expand in the market. Buffalo's where we've developed a lot in, and we sort of, ran out of places to go in that area. So we're looking, Daytona was a really nice area that we'd like to expand into. It's similar to Buffalo, and it's got a lot of similar dynamics. So we're really excited to develop in this area, and we're hoping, if we're fortunate enough to get an approval, start working with you guys and make a great product for your area.
Any questions for me or Matt?
Commissioner, does anybody have any questions?
I don't think I have a lot of questions, but to the council, we just approved the Waypoint project, and that area is dangerous. I've lived over there, and I have residents complain all the time. And they haven't even built yet. They have 1,086 homes coming in and 320 apartments. Okay. And we actually turned it down. Went back to, it was Storch actually, went back to the county to get that traffic signal. I know the county is going to stop that road that cuts through to Tomoka, I was told, but I don't understand why you want to annex it into the city. So the property that faces ISB, that's zone B6, which is commercial. Yeah. The other property is zoned A2 conservation. Two-thirds of that property is conservation.
There's only a very small part of this conservation. There's ag, which is a zoning classification.
Right, but there's two-thirds that is. I checked with the county.
Which is a zoning classification that the county considers to be a holding category in most cases, especially when you're near an interchange. So it has the entire thing overlaid by what's called the County Activity Center. Lots of different mixtures of uses are permitted in the activity center, offices, retail, some industrial. So when we gauge the existing condition in terms of potential traffic impacts to the proposed, it's much less. And so Manny can get up and explain that to you. But when you both view the existing future land use classifications combined with the existing county zoning to this zoning, we're greatly increasing the potential for trips on the road.
Okay.
And in terms of the actual mechanics of it, Stacy, we also work through all the things that Waypoint is doing as it relates to things that the improvements they're making and such, and we're complementing that, much like the other project that's a couple doors down from us. So
I don't feel like you're complimenting it. We don't even know the impact of Waypoint.
yeah,
And there's going to be an impact there.
as opposed to nothing, I would agree
do
with
not
you.
want Tomoka Farms Road ending up like LPGA without all the infrastructure
none of
first.
us do.
And you said the surrounding property is all city. Well, you got that camper, that's county, the flea market's county.
Well,
Not
the-
all of that is city around there.
So
It's
the
kind
First
of
Baptist
mixed.
Church came in and kind of created that, and then the next one came down. So there's westward
Right.
city, and then it wraps around. So
And then we're going to take this on, so that puts a strain on our utilities, that's putting a strain on our police, our fire department, and I'm not against growth. Don't get me, I mean, I approve projects all the time. It's just that I do not know what Waypoint is going to look at, when they build. They haven't even started. So we just keep on approving projects. Do we see what the impact is going to be from Waypoint?
Yeah, I can't speak to the Waypoint project, but I know it's coming. We've been analyzing it as we look at this. This is obviously much smaller scale. And I'll tell you that both the utilities department, the traffic folks, all the people that we check the boxes off with, we've got capacity. Everything seems good from that standpoint. And we're doing whatever improvements are required of us. And we will be paying taxes to the city of Daytona Beach, not the county, such that that money will be used on things like police and fire, where if we built in the county, that wouldn't happen that way.
Why aren't you building it?
We want to be part of Daytona Beach. We like the brand. I think Matt was trying to explain to you that
It's county,
he feels-
Daytona, it's right there,
he
so
feels like
what's
he's
the
coming to a city
difference?
that's very similar to the city that they've been, other than it being pretty cold, very similar to where he's built his business. And he found Daytona Beach and decides it's like Buffalo, and he wants to do it like he's been doing it up there. So I can tell you that I think you'll have a good corporate citizen in the end with these guys. I've had some time to get to know who they are and what they do. I think you'd be better off having them be a citizen
Rob,
of
I'm not
Daytona
saying
Beach
these
rather
are
than the
bad
county.
guys, and I'm not against growth, but as of right now, I can't approve this till I see what's going to happen over there, because right now, it's pretty bad over there. I drive it all the time, so I know. It's 2 lanes, same as LPGA. Once we start building, once you get one project, they just keep coming. I want to see changes over there. I want to see that traffic signal that they're going to put in. I want to see them close off that one road that goes out.
Right.
So as of right now, I can't approve this till I see what happens.
Okay. Well, and I understand that. So and I would say to you that it's better that you guys have your hands on the handlebars than the county, if you feel that way. So just my thought. Anybody else?
Any other questions? Was he gonna address this?
Would you like to?
I thought you said the transportation.
So Mandy's here and can talk to you about the traffic part of this. I think traffic is a big part of, Stacy, what you're talking about, and he's our expert. So Mandy? Yeah, thank you.
Even with the gun range over there, when they have that bicycle thing, they pretty much close off that business. Because it's so squeezed that it's impact over there. I just want infrastructure before I start seeing a lot of building going on.
Manny Rodriguez, Kimley Horn. Kind of what Rob was saying, the proposed future land use zoning would reduce the trip generation of the site, right? Currently, it allows for activity center, so it's a little more intense than just a multifamily, so it'll be a trip reduction. After this, if we could approve the traffic impact analysis, it's going to look into details of what widening are going to be needed, right? So we've been coordinating with DOT, the county, and also the city. We have a joint meeting to discuss how is our development going to tie in with the improvements of the signal that you mentioned. And the county already has an alternative for that area of Tomoka and Bellevue, and they're actually going to be widening 4 lanes in that section, including with the signal and that slip lane that connects from Bellevue into ISB. So there's going to be a lot of improvements. There is a publicly that schematic that we can share with you, the county share with us. And
I have the improvements.
Okay, cool. Then it'll increase capacity, right? So 2 lanes going to be 4 lanes. There's going to be the signal, and we're working with DOT and the county to ensure that our proposed development ties in well and minimize the impacts from a traffic standpoint.
Okay, I'm still a no. I'm gonna have to see the infrastructure in place and waypoint and see what the impact is on that road. But I'm not saying no. I mean, you still have the county.
Who's our speaker?
Okay, our first speaker is John Nicholson, and on deck is Robert Campbell. And for the record, Mr. Jim Cameron is waiving his time in support of the project.
John Nicholson, 413 North Grandview Avenue. I've been talking to the county for the last 2 years with regard to that bridge that is like feet from this project. As you know, 15 years ago, I asked the city about a bridge on LPGA where, unfortunately, I was thinking that Margaritaville was coming in and that Mosaic was coming in, and that I wanted that bridge widened and LPGA widened. And of course, the city decided not to. I think at this point, you all have understood that there's a problem with LPGA and a problem with that bridge. There's going to be a problem with this bridge as well. So it took us, because it's not happening, another 5 years, so it'll be 15 years getting that bridge in. It will probably take at least 10 years to get this bridge widened. So I'm asking you at this point to start thinking about widening that bridge. This project is great for this location. The distance between this particular project and ISB is a matter of inches. So there's no problem with getting traffic to and from it. It is not that far from I-95, so to go north and south is quite easy for them. So if we were ever going to have apartments, we need them near intersections, near large intersections. Look, we didn't do at LPGA and 95. So this is ideal. You may not think so. I know Tracy doesn't like that, but it does help us if we build our massive amount of buildings or apartments where there's intersections, large on-ramps, off-ramps, rather than putting them in residential neighborhoods. I know I got holy heck from the residents of LPGA when I didn't want apartments in the middle of their houses. Apartments don't belong in the middle of the houses where everybody's got to go into the neighborhood to get out. When they leave here, they're already on a large road. They're already on 4 large roads, north, south, east, and west of this location. So normally I would oppose Rob, but this is ideal location. And in the future, I hope we do more of these large things rather than residential areas where it's easy for them to get on and off our roads. We can't have our roads can't have that many more people. Our roads are packed. Troy Kent had a meeting the other night saying that he can't wait for Hand Avenue to get in because Granada is backed up. LPGA is backed up at 95. So we're going to have the same problem if we don't start putting these large developments near 95 and I-4 and whatnot. Thank you.
How's that gonna make it?
Our next speaker is Robert Campbell. And then on deck, Brian Green, who's actually speaking on behalf of the applicant.
Good evening. Thank you for your time. I just want to talk about this project a little bit. I'm with the Root family, Robert Campbell. And we are the landowner on this. We've worked with the Greens for the last 2.5 years on this. They are great people. We've met the whole family. They've come down. This is the model. I know you guys want projects with affordable housing, and that's very hard to do to get the numbers to work. And this is the model that they've perfected up in New York, and they're trying to bring that here to Daytona Beach. So they're targeting 20% affordable. So, and they put 2.5 years into this project and lots of time on engineering and all the steps and hurdles to get to this stage. And I mean, if we want affordable housing. These are the guys who've done it, and they're offering to do it. They're long-term thinkers, which is a huge thing for our area. As you may have noticed, there's a lot less apartment people coming in here. Most of those people have canceled deals a long time ago, but they are long-term thinkers. So they're planning. Whereas the interest rates, as you watch the 10-year Treasury today up again. It's up at near 4.6, which is huge in any commercial projects. Really makes it hard to make deals pencil. But since they're long-term thinkers, they are pushing forward. So, we can't speak to the Wayport, but I can tell you that these are great people, the kind of people we want in our community, who are looking to invest. They're not some big institution that builds them and sells them off to Wall Street. They're a father and son that work hard, and they're honorable, high integrity people.
So, once it's built, they're going to be here? They're going to stay?
Yes.
And why aren't you going through the county? No one's been able to answer that.
Want to speak to it? I'm sorry. Go ahead. I didn't hear you.
After you build, are you staying in Daytona Beach?
That's correct.
You're going to live here?
We plan on moving part of our family down here.
Okay.
My name's Brian Green from the Green Organization. Thanks for having us and listening to us and working on this project for the past 2.5 years. I know Rob and Jessica have done such a great job. We have Cobb Cole that have put so much time, and like Robert said, we've been working with the Root family for 2.5 years, and they've been patient with us. And I know you have things you have to take care of, and you have to worry about the traffic. We did add that other piece of parcel on there. We invested another 1.7 to get that parcel because you wanted 3 exits to the parcel. So we added that other parcel. That's on ISB, which most of the traffic is going to come out onto. So we're trying to mitigate everything. We've tried to answer all the questions for the board and the town. And
okay, my question is, why aren't you going through the county? Why Daytona Beach?
Well, we rely on Rob to advise us on what to do. I can't answer that question. We're just trying to do the best, most efficient process that we can do. Rob is familiar with that fact, so I would have to have him answer that question.
So when we consulted on that point 2.5 years ago, we felt like the city of Daytona Beach had a more business-friendly approach to things, and we've worked with them. We started by talking to your staff, and I think I'm talking about all the folks that we deal with almost daily. These guys got a very good comfort level. So I advised them. I thought it was the best course of action, and now we're a long ways down the road. I don't want to say anything bad about the county. That's not what I'm trying to do. But I think our experiences, Jessica and I and the other consultants that are working with the Greens, have had a very good business-like reception from your staff and from the commission. And so we felt like you guys have been that way. I understand that you're focused on things like traffic and making sure that it's not going to be a problem for the community. And we are too. I mean, we live here too. So, and I think they want to become part of the community. Like you said, people are going to be moving here from their family. So, Stacy, it's hard for me not to promote Daytona Beach or tell you there's a reason why we went here instead of there. But I think it should be complimentary to the city.
I guess this makes no difference, but
I hear you guys. I'm telling you, like, I want to say yes, but I represent the zone. I know what's going on. I know LPGA, we at least got another 7-8 years. I mean, I tell my residents 6 if they're lucky. And Tomoka Farms Road is 2 lanes, just like LPGA was. And it's all coming. I mean, I see Port Orange, the developers are coming. I just want to see what goes on after Waypoint. I just don't want to sit and keep rubber stamping projects and have the same problem going on in LPGA.
See, I guess for us, which doesn't matter, I guess, this is so similar to our market, the secondary market. But in the next year, there is going to be a shortage of apartments because they're all going to be filled. I think there's 300 more coming online.
That's not going to happen here in Daytona.
Well, I'm just saying for the short term, within the next year, there's 300 apartments coming online. Those will be maxed out. By the time we get this built, in a year and a half, 2 years, it'll be positioned to grow and fill that void that's coming up.
I don't think so. Actually, right down the street from where I live and where you're wanting to build, we have 2 more apartment buildings probably in the next 2 years.
Okay.
I'm waiting for it to pop up.
Okay.
So
Well, this is a
it's
study
just
that
coming
people
down
did.
this way now.
Study that people have researched the market for us. The other portion of it is the 20% that we're doing in workforce housing. It's worked so well for us up in the north.
So you're planning on getting a tax credit
Well,
from the Live Local Act?
it is. I'm not sure what the programs are. But we plan on doing
Can your attorney advise?
So,
Go ahead, Jessica.
for the record, Jessica Gal, Cobb Law Firm, 1 Daytona Boulevard, Daytona Beach, Florida. I have an answer on the annexation question, but Live Local requires 40% of the units to
Okay,
be
right.
affordable.
Well,
Right.
so he's
And
not
he
getting a
said
tax
20%.
credit. And is that in our documents?
It is not currently reflected in the PD.
No,
There's
it's not.
Right,
The only
correct.
tax program. There are affordable housing tax credits that have been available as of right. If you build a certain percentage of your units as affordable, there's nothing in the agreement about any sort of requirement that the units be affordable.
There's nothing in
Currently,
there.
not in
Okay.
this agreement. They're just saying that's what they plan to do.
And if I can, and we'll turn it back over to you, there were 2 points our traffic engineer has noted, and it goes into the question of why Daytona Beach. Part of it is one of the parcels that is part of this development is already in the city of Daytona Beach. It was annexed years ago. And so in order to have the development overall, it's very difficult to de-annex a piece and go back to the county. So we're bringing in that other half. That is why
What
Daytona
parcel are you saying is in Daytona Beach? The one off ISB?
Beach. The one off Tomoka Farms is already in the city of Daytona
Okay, and how many acres is that?
Beach. Total? I'd say about 10 acres. of
10
the overall-
acres.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And the secondary kind of runs into the traffic
And is
analysis.
that okay, because there's, off the Tomoka, there's 2/3 of that is resource conservation. Is that property part of that property?
When that property was
I'm
annexed.
asking that question. Is that property, you were just talking about part of the conservation?
So when the property was annexed into the city of Daytona Beach, it was not assigned a city zoning classification, or land use, I believe. I think it's all just holding category. And so the county maps would show the historic designation, but it has been annexed into the city.
Okay, still didn't answer my question, but.
So the acreages of the former county zoning are illustrated for the entire parcel in the backup for the comp plan with the acreage breakdowns for each section. As we went through the design process for this site, part of what Rob noted is that at some point we designed it just with an access onto ISB because we don't want to touch Tomoka Farms because of kind of those concerns. And so the way that the project is currently designed and oriented, and Manny is going through the initial methodology for the traffic impact analysis, is the majority of traffic still uses ISB as the primary entrance and exit. And they've discussed that pretty at length in a pre-app with the city and DOT, which you could give more details on.
So if Chris is here, if you want to talk about the environmental component of it, I think it's important that you raise that, Stacy. Introduce yourself, you look this, and we'll do a sheet for you.
Yeah, Chris Rowley with Zev Conan Associates, 300 Interchange Boulevard. So, just give you an exhibit here, Stacy. So that what you have there in front of you is the latest wetland map. So that's the latest wetland map you can see on that south parcel. You got 2.26 acres. So since this site has been designed through the rezoning, we've gone through a lot more detail with meeting with staff. We're going through the St. John's River Water Management District. We've submitted to them, and the site plan has changed significantly. You have the most recent site plan, and so we are completely avoiding that wetland on the south side because it's deemed a federal wetland, which we could permit to impact, but it's a long process and we don't want to impact it. So we're not going to impact that wetland. We're also preserving the W2 wetland, which is 2.86 acres. And the only wetland we're going to impact is the what is wetland 3, which is 2.87 acres, and it is a isolated
How much was
wetland.
that, you said?
2.87. So we're preserving 2.26, 2.86. So I'll add that up. 2.26 plus 2. So we're preserving 5.12 acres of wetlands, and we are impacting 2.87. The 2.87 is an isolated wetland that is not connected to the Tomoka River, so there's no hydraulic connection there. It is just isolated internally to the site.
So you're impacting 8.2?
No. So we're impacting 2.87.
2.87
And we are preserving 5.12.
and 5.12?
Yeah.
Okay.
In addition to larger buffers that are required for these wetlands, because they are protected from the Tomoka River. So we have 50-foot buffers on all the wetlands minimum, along with a 200-foot buffer from the Tomoka River itself.
Let me let Commissioner Strickland ask a question.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Mayoral,
Yes, sir.
I have a couple of questions.
Yes, sir.
Number one, can they do the same thing they want to do in the county that they're asking to do here in the city when we annex it, or if we annex it?
So it's an interesting question. The mix of uses that are allowed there now are different, and they involve more intense uses, so more commercial uses. And part of it is based on the proximity to the interchange. Generally, that's the way the county does these activity centers, they call them. But in this case, as Stacy was saying, this is kind of an odd interchange because Bellevue comes in and it has that strange connection with Tomoka Farms, with ISB, and then 95 and I-4. So I don't think that some of the things the county envisioned when they put this big activity center around it for this particular piece makes good sense. I think what they're doing makes more sense. And I think especially since they're focused on ISB in terms of the vehicular connectivity, I think it makes sense there. So they could do a lot of other things that are more intense, I guess is the easiest way to say it.
Why would I'm sorry.
Could I
Go
finish,
ahead,
please?
I'm sorry.
Thank you. All I'm asking is that if we say no, they can go to the county, they can still do other things, they can still put stuff there, it's still going to create traffic, and we don't get the tax money.
Or the control of it. That's the point.
Correct.
Yeah. So I would say, Ken, if they want to do what they're planning to do, they're going to have to go ask the county to lessen the zoning, if you will, and not do the commercial or the office and the other things they can do, so they can do the multifamily. I don't know how that goes with them. I do know that you guys, we felt more comfortable with you guys having that control. And we've been working on it with your staff now for a long time. So, and they're in agreement with us. They like all the things we've done. The plan, you guys got a pretty tough planning board, in case you didn't notice. They're unanimous on this, and we had a lot of discussion about it. So
They're not tough.
They're what?
They're not tough. Not like that.
They're tough on me, Mayor.
Okay.
Maybe it's just
I'm
me.
not saying they don't do a good job, but they're not some.
Vernon's up here. He knows what I'm talking about.
They're not up putting up the block, but it's okay. Okay.
Yeah. No, they analyze these projects for things like traffic and wetlands, and we talk about those things for sure.
I find it interesting you say the county it would be worse. Well, the land that's butting up to Tomoka Farms Road, that is agriculture. Now, ISB, that's commercial, which I love how you keep saying activity center, but that's commercial property. Yes, so why do you think that would be worse than building a whole bunch of apartments and homes?
I'm not a judge of better or worse. What I'm telling you is the facts and the law.
You actually did say that.
So I'm giving you a personal preference there, I guess,
Okay,
Stacey,
that's
and I
personal,
apologize.
right,
I apologize for being human. But at the end of the day, there are entitlements that are county entitlements that are much more intense
I just like how
than
you
what we're
kept saying
asking for.
activity center.
Well, that's what it's called. I didn't make it up.
But I don't see where personally with the county zoned is worse than with the city. But
When I say it's more intense.
Have some opportunity to get his questions out.
All I was gonna say is that if we approve this, we get the tax money and we have control over what's going on there. If we don't approve this, we're gonna not get the tax money and we will be at the mercy of whatever the county decides whenever they decide to decide whatever they want to go in there. And we just get to sit back and watch. I think we should approve it.
Thanks.
Okay,
Have one additional speaker, Mr.
I have a question.
okay.
I'd like to speak to the owner, potential owner.
Which one do you guys? I guess the brother, the father.
It doesn't matter.
How about that?
I don't mind. Can you tell me more about your project in New York?
In Buffalo, well, we have 162 units being built right now. 20% is workforce housing. It's different in New York State. They give you sales tax abatement for the materials and property tax.
Neat.
We have another, we've been in business for 30 years. I started with a double 30 years ago. And we grew it. Matt came into the business. We grew it exponentially. We've been working as a team, as a family business. And we have probably about 600 units in Buffalo, and 700 once these are built.
600 currently.
Currently,
Mhm.
so we're just we bought a property, oddly enough, from one of your longtime residents here who've been here 45 years. They owned a property up in Buffalo we bought 5 years ago from them. They own a property right next to this lot also. So we've become familiar with it, and I always say, and maybe I'm wrong, it reminds me of Amherst, New York, where we come from. But we've been doing this a long time, and we've been successful at it. We watch the numbers. We're very detailed. This workforce housing is one at home with the politicians and us has helped the community because we're close to the University of Buffalo.
Yeah, I think something in Buffalo, New York, that they try to do is they want to retain a lot of the residents. They don't want people moving out of the town or the city. So they offer these incentives. It's basically 80% of the AMI. That's one of the ways to analyze it. And so instead of going to the market where rents they're just skyrocketing. They're like 2,000 right now. They're going to be going to 2,100. Versus with this affordable component, you're able to offer residents that are moving into the area or just even staying in the area, it could be $300 or $400 a month discount on the rents, and it helps retain people in the area.
Oddly enough, too, we're so efficient. We don't have any of vacancies. Our rental managers are so good. We have high credit ratings for people coming in. We just don't rent to anybody. So we're good at it. We know what we're doing. We just specialize in multifamily. We've been doing it for 30 years. We would like to do it here. We like Daytona. We like Rob and everybody. The Root family has been so good to us and patient with us for the past 2.5 years. I know that doesn't matter to everybody, but it means a lot to us with the people. And we look forward to coming here and working and doing this. We're excited about it. We already have architectural plans done. And like Rob said, we've been working for 2.5 years through all the details with the planning board and people on your committee. So we've worked hard to accommodate everybody and what they want. So we would love it if we could come here and we enjoy being part of your community. But
What kind of turnover rate do you have in your other units? What kind of turnover rate do you have in your?
I mean, it's average. I mean, it's around 30% usually. With people are moving out, they choose a different place, or they bought a house. There's so many different variables.
How do your residents feel you treat them, honestly?
Good. I mean, we try to almost offer our units like we would live in them ourselves. I mean, we like to, we go a little overboard on the finishes with the countertops, the cabinets, the flooring, the trim, doors, all that stuff. So
I always say to Matt, we just don't want to apologize for anything. So when our people are showing it, I don't want to say, I'm sorry, it looks like this. We want to make sure it would be like we live in. But I guess I guess anybody would say this, but we do care.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for listening to us, and thank you for.
I have a question about your management. Does management stay on site?
Good question.
Yeah, so
this?
for a project like this, it's 344 apartments, so we'd have a full-time manager plus potentially an assistant plus probably 1 to 2 full-time maintenance guys.
Mm-hmm.
So integrated with my family, my daughter runs the leasing, so she is in charge of all the leasing people. And like I said, since she took over, she's so efficient. We're at 100% right now.
Mm-hmm.
So that's rare. So we've done a good job locally, and we will do a good job here. And again, I thank you for working with Rob and for the past 2.5 years.
Thank you.
I do have another speaker, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you, guys.
Miss Jenny Nazak.
Wait, Mayor, I'm not finished. I have another question. So if we annex this property, and I know this ain't the time because we're just annexing, so are you willing to put this in that you will supply affordable housing? Or not?
Yeah, we're
You're willing to put it in the
would like
PD?
So there's numbers that, I'm sorry, there's numbers that work with the numbers with the interest rate. So at home, we've kept it at 20% because that's the numbers that work. Because with the interest rate so high, we're giving that discount on the rents. We were hoping to stay at 20%, but we have to rely on Jessica and Rob locally.
So is the numbers already in there? Wait a minute, I'm asking
The
our
PD
attorney.
agreement doesn't currently reference
There's
affordable
nothing
housing.
in there.
Nothing, okay.
This is them talking about what
Right.
they want to do.
So, and they've done it elsewhere, so we haven't gotten to that sort of business conversation, Stacy.
We're just in the annexation on this
Right,
project.
and that's what I was asking. I know this ain't the time, but I'm just
Yeah.
asking, if we approve this, are you willing to put it in there?
We've got to come back with that component. It's usually done in a separate agreement, Stacy, and we haven't gotten to that yet. We've been talking about it for a year now, but we need to work with your staff and talk about how that happens. I know there's some opportunities for them to do it, and you're exploring it still.
Yeah,
You've done it in Buffalo. I mean, you've got somebody who's done it, so.
And we've given the formula here too.
And even if they don't do it, I think that they've got experience in the area and they've done housing that's affordable and some that isn't, all of which has been successful, so.
And for a benefit for us, for the affordable housing, it benefits the community, but it helps us too. It immediately gives us a head start to get 20% of the units rented quicker. So it's a benefit to us also, not only the community.
Okay.
But thank you again.
Okay. Well, we'll remember that when we get to the part, so try to make that as a part of what you bring. Because we don't want to just hear it, we want to see it, but personally, the fact that you've done it and you seem to care about it matters and resonates with me.
And we would like to come back and we'll sit down and work out the details.
Yeah.
So just for clarity's sake, there are 3 related items on the agenda tonight.
Yeah.
The current one that you're looking at is the annexation of this property. You have the legislative power to annex. It doesn't commit you to approving the comp plan amendment and the rezoning for this property that come next. You also have discretion not to annex if you choose. But all 3 of those items are on tonight. So right now, the only item in front of you is the annexation.
Yeah. All right, we have another speaker.
Yes, Miss Jenny Nazak.
Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. Jenny Nazak, 501 Harvey. Thank you to Commissioner Henry and Commissioner Reed for bringing up questions related to concerns from a resident's viewpoint. That's really important. I tend to favor things that are about affordable housing and so on. And I like what Commissioner Strickland, I like what you pointed out, that we're going to get the bad side anyway, might as well have the good side. Another thing that hasn't been brought up is that it is on a bus line. It is on the number 60 and it might be on another bus line. And that we don't bring that up much when we talk about development in Daytona Beach. It's like, it's real important, especially if we want to have affordable housing and we want to have some relief from all this traffic. And I don't like the idea that it's a foregone conclusion that we're going to make another monster road with 4 more lanes of traffic or whatever. Like, we have heat island effects here, man. We got to save our trees and our and things that give us some shade. So if we could, that could even be a marketing point. Like other places I've lived, apartments got marketed as, oh, it's on the subway line or it's on the bus line. And I don't often see that around here, and it's a valid thing to consider, a valid selling point. And it's near that big flea market, which is like you can do your entire world of shopping in there. So that's another plus. Anyway, thank you all.
Thank you. That was a brilliant observation. Thank you.
Can I close with one quick point there? Thank you, Jenny. To close on just this one, because thank you, Ben. Really, all that you guys are going to vote on is the annexation. I left out the most important point. Of course, the brains in the operation said it, and I want to say it again. Half this property is already in the city. So if you say no to this, we got a split piece of property that's got some city and some county. We got a problem. Even if we went to the county, we'd be in trouble because we can't de-annex the piece that's already in the city.
And that was, from my perspective, the most important observation of the evening. So, yeah. Any other questions? All right, we have a question before us, and I do want to go ahead and vote, but I also want to say to Commissioner Cantu, I hear you and I understand what you're saying. And I want to say to the community, because that we cannot have another LPGA. And I say that, and that doesn't mean that if I had it to do all over again that I wouldn't do it. But I didn't control the bridge. So we have to remember that as a commission. And immediately after this is over, I think it's a discussion that we need to have. So we have a motion and a second, and I think it's a discussion we need to have for our posterity. All those in favor of this motion, let it be noted by saying aye.
Aye.
Those who are opposed, same sign.
No.
This motion carries 5-1. Gentlemen, as it relates to this part of the agenda item, I want to welcome you to our community, and I don't want you to sense that this friction is a negative friction, but you'd have to remember that any community that experiences growth has to respond, and we would be less than good stewards if we didn't respond to where we are as a community. I'm hopeful that you're able to bring something to fruition that will include affordable housing or workforce as you describe it. But I'm also hopeful that you will be as good to the community as you have projected. So thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, we're going to move on to item 9H. It's the Growth Management Planning Department, Tomoka Farms Road Apartments, Small Scale Comprehensive Plan Amendment. This is an ordinance on second reading, public hearing. An ordinance adopting a small scale comprehensive plan amendment in accordance with section 163.3187 Florida statutes with regard to 30.8 plus or minus acres of property located at 1484 Tomoka Farms Road and 3039 West International Speedway Boulevard, amending the future land use map designation for this property from County Environmental System Corridor and Activity Center to City Potentially Environmentally Significant and Level 2 Residential, amending the future land use element Neighborhood U development policy to allow for limited residential uses of the property, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, and providing an effective date.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second.
Did you want to speak, Rob, on this?
I'll simply say that, this being now in the city of Daytona Beach, it needs a Daytona Beach Comprehensive Plan designation. We mirrored the county's environmental area with the environmental systems corridor with your environmentally significant land use. So we're basically, going from the activity center to the multifamily, and then the environmental staying pretty much the same. So that's the picture. Any questions?
No, I don't have any questions. I live over there. I've lived over there for decades. I know my residents, and I'm with my residents because I know what is going to happen over there. I mean, my colleagues can vote, but I'm going to be a no again.
Can we ask, we can ask, y'all, I guess y'all will do whatever, but I would like to see as much of the area to stay natural as possible. I know there's some wetlands in there, a lot of trees. It just makes me want to cringe when I drive Williamson up by the, just south of the hospital and right across from where you turn to go into Tanger there off of Williamson. They have just scalped acres and acres and acres and grind up the trees and work it back into the ground. I'd like to see us do something where we save some trees, because one of these days we're going to need those trees because we're going to run out of oxygen. I won't be alive, you won't be alive, but keep paving stuff over.
I have offspring too, so.
You have what?
I have offspring too, so I won't be here, but somebody will.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I agree with you, and a lot of what happens is the trees are, sacrificed for the fill that's necessary in a lot of cases.
Right.
And Chris talked to you about the way that we design this thing around the areas that are going to be preserved. If you want to elaborate, you can. But Ken, I think we've worked with the staff to great lengths to make sure that what you're just saying is done to the best extent we can.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I don't have any other speakers for this item, Mr. Mayor.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, let it be noted by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign.
No.
Motion carries 5-1.
Moving on to item 9I, it's Growth Management and Planning Department, Tomoka Farms Road Apartments. This is a Plan Development General. This is an ordinance on second reading, quasi-judicial hearing. An ordinance amending the zoning map of the Land Development Code to rezone 30.8 plus or minus acres of property located at 1484 Tomoka Farms Road and 3039 West International Speedway Boulevard from Volusia County Rural Agriculture to Plan Development General, approving the Tomoka Farms Road Apartment Plan District Agreement to allow for the development of a 344-unit multifamily complex, authorizing the mayor and the city clerk to execute the agreement and providing an effective date.
Second.
Thank you, guys. We have a motion and a second.
Did you? I don't have any other speakers.
All right. All those in favor, let it be noted by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign.
No.
Motion carries 5-1. And I'm going to close this item from my perspective. I would like for us to have a staff report on this area, on the,
It's mainly all county.
Yeah, but I just want to get a staff report because I'm not responsible for annexing all of this land in and there not being a plan for the bridge. So if all of the people who want to come in, they come in, and then we don't have a plan where this is concrete. This doesn't really apply to you all because I'm going to be with you. I'm talking about me moving into the future. I'm not going to be responsible for another LPGA. Mm-hmm. So if there's no plan for a bridge, I'm not going to vote for any other items that's out there. You know, I won't, it's going to be a very hard way to sell me. So I'm moving over to her side of the street until we get some sort of plan and understanding of the county and what will be said, because what will be said is that the city of Daytona Beach annexed and then approved, and then you have an LPGA. Mm-hmm. We have some covering from LPGA because a lot of it was, all of it pretty much was approved long before we came along. We just approved changes. But I'm not going to have two of those on my watch, and me having voted for them. So that's where I'm going to be.
Mayor, before we leave, we want to thank everybody.
Yeah.
So I think
Okay.
Thank you. And I think that we'll say they want to be a part of the discussions you're talking about. No, they don't want to be part of this problem. They want to be part of the
Okay.
Thank you.
Good deal.
Very good.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
I have a question for our attorney, Mr. Gross.
Yes.
In the future, in situations like this, with more development and bridges, narrow roads, no infrastructure there, are we allowed to vote no until we have those things in place? I know, but I don't want to vote for something where we end up with lawyers again. We need to stay out of the courtroom with our decisions if we can.
That's a difficult question to address.
That's why I ask
If
it.
somebody's here with a conventional rezoning request, then you're bound to apply the criteria that are in your land development code.
Even without infrastructure to accommodate them?
If somebody comes in with a conventional rezoning request, which means not a PD, you're bound to apply the specific criteria that are in your land development code. If your land development code allows you to reject something because of a lack of infrastructure, then the answer to your question is yes, you can reject it. The reason why your question is a little more difficult because you have a lot of items to come forward as planned development. And I think you have more discretion with a planned development. I don't know if your discretion is unlimited. I think that would be a case of first impression under Florida law as to whether the standard of judicial review is as stringent for planned developments as it is for conventional rezoning. I think it's reasonable for us to take the position that we have more discretion with a planned development than we do with a conventional rezoning. The other thing I would tell you is if you have something brought to you like you had tonight, where in addition to a rezoning, prior to that you had a comp plan amendment and an annexation, you have a lot more discretion on whether to approve an annexation or a comprehensive plan amendment. So if you as commissioners didn't like the rezoning part of this project based on what you saw in front of you tonight, you would be on safer grounds disapproving the annexation, or if you wanted the property in the city, disapproving the comprehensive plan amendment, because the judicial review of those decisions gives you a lot more latitude. If reasonable people could disagree on your decision to annex or do a comp plan amendment, then we win. So if you think reasonable people could have disagreed on whether we should have annexed or done this comp plan tonight, then we would win on judicial review. So that's the best answer I can give you. You have a lot more discretion on the annexation side, on the comprehensive plan amendment side. If you're doing a rezoning, I would defend your decision to deny a plan development because of your concerns about infrastructure. And of course, I'll defend if you deny conventional rezoning as well, but I think that's less likely to hold up unless you can point to criterion in your land development code that would justify that denial. Well, one thing that does mean is you could ask for a review of your land development code. Your land development code provides for a kind of automatic process for people who do rezone their process to then get their projects approved if they go through conventional zoning, if they don't do a plan development. So if you're concerned that you're giving away too much, then that might be an occasion for you to review your standards in your land development code globally.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm going to move on to item 9J. It's a Police Department Code Compliance Residential Rental Registration Program Amendment. This is an ordinance on second reading public hearing. An ordinance amending the City Code of Ordinances, Article 6 of Chapter 26, Section 26-297, related to the Residential Rental Registration Program to carry forward fees from the previous rental licensing program, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, and providing an effective date.
All right, we got a motion and a second. Any questions or comments? All right, all those in favor, let it be noted by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 6-0.
Okay. So we have no introduction of ordinances tonight, so we're going to move on to item number 11, which is administrative items. Item 11A is Information Technology Systems, establishing a cybersecurity-related policy for elected officials. This is a resolution of the City of Daytona Beach establishing a cybersecurity-related policy regarding acceptable use of city information technology system and resources for elected officials, providing for severability, providing authorizing the mayor to take certain steps to preserve public safety and city assets, including the city's information technology, where needed in association with cybersecurity policy, subject to conditions, authorizing. Wow, that's wrong.
Tish, we provided that markup of changes, including the changes to the title.
Commission? Okay.
Yeah.
Hold 1 second,
There were
ladies
some
and gentlemen.
typos in the title that you're reading from.
Yes,
My
I see
apologies.
that now.
Yeah.
Give me 1 second, everybody. Let me reread this right.
And these changes, by the way, commissioners, they were mailed out to you previously, along with staff.
They mailed out today?
That
or-
was that change I asked for, correct?
They included the change you asked for, as well as some corrections to typos that were in the
Right,
title.
okay.
Okay, so it is a resolution of the City of Daytona Beach establishing a cybersecurity-related policy regarding acceptable use of city information technology system and resources for elected officials, authorizing the mayor to take certain steps to preserve the public safety and city assets, including the city's information technology, where needed in association with cybersecurity policy, and providing an effective date.
So move.
All right, we have a motion, we have a second.
I have a question.
Question?
Yes, what was the change you asked for, Commissioner Cantu?
It was, since this resolution will be taking place even probably before we have a new city manager, mayor, until someone changes it, the Skype, or if you wanted to purchase, because the market rate, they can change whatever commissions up here, change the market rate.
We can tell you the change specifically. Tish, it's the new sentence at the end of section 2A. Would you mind reading that out? So section 2A of the resolution is the provision of the resolution that gives a commission member the option to choose to purchase their own tablet or cell phone for purposes of connecting to the IT system rather than accepting a city-issued one. And so that wouldn't come as, with preloaded with some security measures that at least one commissioner was concerned with. And so we added a sentence at
So
the
the
end
sentence that was there is the city commission shall, as part of the annual budgeting process, set the dollar amount an elected official will receive as a stipend for using his or her own tablet or cell phone.
Okay. So, and as we talked about during the original presentation of this, when this was going to be an ordinance, the proposal all along was to allow a commission member using a, quote, bring your own device to receive reimbursement for the cost of that device. And that would be the stipend.
But I'm fine with what I have now, with the resolution.
All right, did we get a motion? Second? All right, all those in favor, let it be noted by saying aye.
Aye.
Those in opposition, same sign. Motion finally carries 6-0. Been a while with that.
That was our final agenda item tonight.
Okay, we started tonight with
Strickland.
Commissioner Ken Strickland of Zone 2.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple of things. Attended the Boys and Girls Club function the other night with Mr. Manager and Paula. What a great function that was. It's a great event. The next night, the father-daughter dance over at the Cherry Center was another excellent program we put on. And I have another question here. I have spoken with Shannon about the boil water notice we were given the other day, and I have asked her to come out and to explain that a little bit, because I have been asked many questions by by some of my residents as to why we had to do that, how long it had to last, and how come you know, just the whys and wherefores about that. And if Shannon is hearing me, I would appreciate it if she would come out and explain that. The door's not opening.
Maybe on the other side of the table.
She's climbing over other people to get out. There she comes.
Hi, Shannon Ponitz, Utilities Director. I'm sorry, I was out. I didn't hear what your question was.
Just to explain what happened, why you had to declare a boil water notice, and what the, you know, different areas, different size areas, there's different guidelines that you have to follow. Could you explain that so we would have it on the record and the people at home will have a place to come and look for it next time they have questions?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
So on May 2nd, the city experienced several brownouts at our water treatment plant out on LPGA Boulevard. And at that time, the pressure for a very brief period of time dropped below 20 psi. And the regulations call for the city to have a boil water notice. And since it occurred at the plant, we had to do it as a citywide boil water notice. Sometimes we have localized breaks and we know that the areas are small, and then we only notice those residents, but because this one happened at the plant, it impacted the entire system. So that happened around 2 p.m. on Friday afternoon, May 2nd. So at that time, we talked to Susan Serbone's group, the PIO office, and they issued notices in many different ways. We sent news press releases. We have a distribution list that they use that has 21 different media outlets, radio, newspaper, news channels. Everybody got a blast of what was going on. We also sent out notices to the city manager, all the city commissioners, and the mayor. We have a alert system that if people sign up for it, you can get a text message or an email. And I believe there's only about 4,000 people signed up, so those messages went out to those people. We also had it on our website. It was on the homepage as a highlight and as an alert on all city web pages. We posted it across all of our social media sites, which included Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Nextdoor. And then we also rented 6 electronic message boards and placed them throughout the city in strategic locations. We had one at North Tomoka Farms Road and LPGA, one at North Williamson and LPGA, one at West ISB and Williamson, one at Pelican Bay and Bevel Road, one at East ISB and South Peninsula, and one at Bevel and South Ridgewood. And so the written notice that Susan sent out told everyone that the expected boil water notice would be in effect for a minimum of 48 hours. It's a 2-day, because we have to do water quality testing to ensure that the water is safe. And I want to just let everyone know this is a precautionary boil water notice. Just because we issued it doesn't mean that the water is bad. It's just a regulation that we have to do, and it was a very, very brief, like 30-second outage, but the pumps lost pressure, so we had to do it. And we want to always err on the side of public health and safety. So on Sunday, May 4th, we have 90 sites throughout the city that we have to test. And we test these 90 sites every month on a normal basis, but it's a month that we have to test all of them. In this case, we tested all of them in like a day and a half. I mean, we did it within the 2-day period. Everything passed. 98% of the city passed. There were 4 small areas that were about 177 residents or properties, addresses. And so in those areas did not get off the boil water notice, but because it was a smaller area, we did distribute all door hangers to them, letting them know that they were still on the boil water notice. And then we continued to test, and as they came off, we would repost at their door. So that's how we handled it. I can say that we were very, very impressed with Susan's group and what they did. They did an excellent job. But we do know that we've had a couple people complain that they didn't get the alerts that they had signed up for. And I have talked with IT, and we're looking into it. They have an open ticket, and we are trying to get to the bottom of why someone would have been signed up and didn't get the alert. But we're also going to be meeting with Susan's group and IT there's always room for improvement. So we're going to be looking forward to see what else can we do. Our department would like to have a critical list of, let's say, hotels, restaurants, hospitals, all of the people that, they use the water and they need the water for business. So we're going to try to get that list so that in the future, if this happens again, which thank goodness it doesn't happen very often, that it's a citywide issue, but we would be able to blast that out to all of those people. So that's what we'll be working on.
Thank you so much. And while you're here, and I didn't forewarn you this question, but it's an easy one.
Okay.
Where do we stand in reaching our cup limit, and how long is it going to be before we have to ask for to raise that?
Well, that's interesting. Last week we just got our cup increased. We had St. John's had a governing board meeting, and we've been working with St. John's for like a year and a half. And we had a cup allocation of 16.03 million gallons per day. That's the water that we can withdraw from our well fields.
Right.
And it's now increased to 19.75. The increase was very significant. They don't usually do that. So it was a very successful.
How long before you think we will be moving toward filtration of the water? I won't use the term that was used last time we had this discussion.
I really don't know. I don't think it's going to be any time. I don't think it's going to be anywhere in the
our
next
lifetime?
10 years. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. It'll be a while.
Okay.
It'll be a while. And just so you know, right now I think our withdrawal is 14.75 MGD, and it's an annual average. So
Thank you very much.
you're very welcome. All right, bye-bye.
I think that's it. I can't write stuff down. I have to put it on here, type it one letter at a time with my thumb.
You can press talk. You can talk to it again.
In my notes,
Even
even.
notes.
I know I can do it with text, but, all right, I'm
Notes
done.
also.
I'm done. Everybody have a good night. Sorry I took up so much of your life.
All right.
Good evening, everybody. So last night we were at the chamber event. Present were Commissioner Strickland, Commissioner Paris, Commissioner Reed, the city manager, and myself. It was held at the Peabody, and I think that all of the business people I spoke with were happily surprised, and they were pleased at the way the Peabody presented itself, and the city manager did a great job of just describing the various events that we have there. I was really impressed with the number of small business people we have who belong to the chamber. A lot of female-owned businesses there. I was happy that they're moving forward and they're using Daytona Beach as their home. That was last night. Then also, we spoke about the Filipino-American Festival that we had last year, and we said that if we could possibly promote them, since we supported their upcoming event, that we would. And so just to that effect, I'd just like everybody to know that they're having an event on the 7th of June, and they have rented the Midtown Center for that, so they're always reinvesting back into the city. Admission at the door is $5. For $5, you get an afternoon of entertainment for the entire family, and all the food is included. So that is a truly, I don't know how they do it, but they bring cultural groups who have a Filipino-American history. They bring them from all over Florida, and they perform ongoing from about 10 o'clock in the morning, and they perform all day long. It's So it's a pretty impressive event. So please join us. Then the following week, they would like to invite the commission actually to another Filipino cultural event at the Sea Breeze Auditorium. And what they're doing there is an international dance cultural group coming in. And they travel all over, and they will be in Daytona Beach as per this group, and we're hosting it. And so they would like to invite us, and I'm happy to provide you with tickets for you to attend. They have a VIP reception. You're sitting in the front, but it's a pretty impressive performance. So that's happening on June 14th. 7th is Midtown for family. June 14th is an auditorium-based cultural program. Please come and check them out. And then finally, we approved a bust on MLK a few months back. To me, this is part of a broader initiative that includes Commissioner Reed and the Thurman House. It includes MMB. It includes our statues, the mayor's initiative to bring more history and more, Black tourism into the community and just promote the cultural trail that we have right now. So we will be doing an unveiling on May 31st at 10 a.m. And because of the heat, we recognize that that's a bit of a hardship. So they will be having some covering and there'll be some refreshments as well. The ceremony is being sort of helped and facilitated by the Alpha. So Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated will be a big part of that since ML King was an Alpha. And then we'll have some historical presentations as well. So I'm hoping that this sort of reminds everybody that we are a city that has history and that we're trying to do as much as we can as a commission to promote that. So thank you so much for supporting that. Hope to see you there. Thank you.
Great stuff. Commissioner?
Yeah. Sorry. I just had a few questions. The impact study. I keep asking for this impact study. I asked the manager's office, I was asked to contact Drew and ask for the impact study, and I was told it is not ready. And I said, well, we just had a presentation on there and it's about ready, but they were putting in our input. Well, this was an independent study that we voted on August 7th, and we actually paid $57,950. Okay, and I know they keep having, they just had a community meeting for the impact study. Was it yesterday?
No, it's tomorrow.
It's tomorrow, okay. And I'm getting a lot of the community businesses asking me the same question. They have asked for this impact study as well for these community meetings, and they cannot get the impact study as well. So as a commissioner, I'm not sure how we can keep having this community meeting we're gonna have tomorrow if the businesses cannot get a copy of the impact study. And believe me, I think we should need to raise our impact fees. I've already said that up there. But how can I vote when I can't get a copy of that impact study? So I feel like we're just rushing this because of the new law. And I think we need to step back, because if you look at the law, it actually states, I'll pull it up. I had it on my phone here, because it actually states a study completed within 12 months before the proposed increase must justify the increase. Public workshops, at least 2 publicly noticed workshops must be held to discuss the circumstance. 2/3 of the governing body. And then it also states the implication of not following these requirements as city, if a city fails. So I'm just asking, if it's almost ready, why can we not receive this impact study? You can't approve something without having the impact study. Plus, if they're punching in our numbers, they shouldn't be doing that. I want an independent study without my numbers. I know what I want my numbers to be. And the business community should have this study before we have community meetings. So if someone can answer why I cannot receive this.
Honorable Mayor, Commissioners, many of you received the email, well, all of you received the email reference to the process. I wanted Drew Driscoll to come and go through the process and what took place so we can have awareness when everyone will get the report when it's provided, updated. So Drew, if you would come and give us some background on this item and how the workshop meetings were discussed based off of our last conversation with the commissioners on their workshop.
Drew Driscoll, Deputy City Manager and Fire Chief. Yes, right now with Raf Tellis, they are commissioned, we've commissioned them to complete a report. The report for the impact fee increase or the proposed increase, that is a capital needs-based process. So for them to complete a report, they must know what this commission's desires are as far as growth-related capital needs. Then that is inserted into the report, which you will receive when it's finalized. The numbers for the proposed increase have been furnished. We had the community workshop or the public workshop on May 7th. And if anyone wants a copy of those, they're more than welcome to have those.
Okay. Got a question. Because I have asked about the study, and everyone I have asked says we don't put our figures in. This is an independent study. So, and I actually read something, I think it was in 2005, 2006, when the commission asked for to raise impacts. And Chisholm, actually, I read all the minutes, and Chisholm said, well, we have to do an impact study. And everything I read does not say that you put in our numbers into that independent study. And I've asked other municipalities as well. They said that wouldn't be an independent study. I know what I want my numbers, and like I said, I think we need to raise impact fees. I want to see the raw study of what they came up with. Why can't I receive that and the businesses?
So there are two methodologies for presenting impact fee studies. One, you could do a database which might explore historic call volume of the fire department. And from there, you create an algorithm that proportionally fair shares the impact of growth amongst everyone. The methodology chosen here is a capital needs. They don't know our city. They can't plan that we need stations, fire stations 8 and 9. So
Can I interrupt? You said they don't know our city. We had a contract way back with, this is the same guy we've been using for a long time. We renewed this contract last year as well.
I will rephrase then.
Okay, thank you.
It's not that they don't know our city. They're not aware of the needs of the police department, our road expansion needs. They know our demographics, they know our business count, they know our population count. They don't know what's in the heart of Drew Driscoll's opinion on what the fire department needs for growth related. They definitely don't know the opinion till now of the city commission, which is the most important, of what our capital needs are as you see. Similarly to we just discussed a property on ISB and Tomoka Farms Road. If those were our roadways and we wish to expand them, they might not be aware of that, but through the transportation mobility impact fees, we could pay for that expansion if they were our roadways.
Okay.
So in a capital needs base, they have to understand what our capital needs are as stated by this commission or agreed to in consensus, and then they'll calculate the numbers and proportionally send it out amongst the different occupancy
Okay,
types.
so when we approved August 7, 2024, that study, it nowhere states in there what you're talking about. It was a study for impact. It did not say it puts in our numbers as well. But I hear you and I'm fine, but how do I get a copy of the raw part of that, and how does the business community get a copy of that?
The raw component of
Because,
it.
let me finish one other thing. Because I believe, which the law states, we have to have 2 community workshops. I believe you cannot have a community workshop for the businesses without them having this information, because what are they going to talk about? Just what we want? No, they need to have this information for the workshop so they can look at it and be able to discuss it with intelligence.
So that is a difference of opinion of the statute. And Ben is your attorney, so he could advise better. The capital needs base is what determines
So we don't
what
give
those
them
fees will
anything,
be.
we just tell them.
Yeah. If we
That's
don't
wrong.
understand the amount, the dollar value of these capital needs that are growth related, how can they proportionally divide up the cost amongst growth related impact? So that is where the numbers come from. As far as the population, functional population, business demographic, they have that. That's already in their draft report. They could not complete the proportionate portion of that until they know from this body what those needs are. They can't tell us what those needs would be because they're not us.
Drew, the businesses do not have this. And I'm going to disagree with you completely because a study is supposed to be an independent study, not our numbers. We know what our numbers, we know what we want out of it. And that's how I determine what I want, not by what the city is saying. And then we're not even giving the community a study. And we're just going to have, I mean, what are they doing there? Just to listen to what we said, you said at the workshop to us? I mean, is that what they're doing?
They will receive the presentation you received along with our extraordinary circumstances causing the need to
I feel like
exceed
we'll open
statutory
ourselves up
requirements.
for a lawsuit.
Raftellus is a nationally recognized consultant that does these all throughout the states, the same methodology, the same way, the same procedure. Could we wait to do the workshop till after a finalized report? Of course, it's this commission's decision. We would just delay when the workshops are, but it doesn't change what the output of the report is. And the output of the report that a development community would most be mindful of is the cost to them or their future development.
I'm not going to sit and argue with you, but I totally
I will-
disagree.
I will not argue with the city
I totally
commission.
disagree with you. It should be an independent study, and
As
the
it
business community should have that study along with the commissioners up here, not what, I mean, you guys just want to give us a presentation without a study. The law is very clear.
Yeah.
It says 12 months, a study has to be done, and then 2 community meetings.
Yeah.
And it actually states in that law, you can open yourself up for lawsuits, a city can, without following the proper rules.
What they gave us when they came here, wasn't that the independent study?
Yes, it is an independent study. It is.
No, that's not the study.
That
Okay, what is
No.
that?
That's the data that's based on a draft of the study. As far as I know, I haven't had a chance to review the study.
It is. It's
Wait,
not
wait,
the study.
wait.
So statutorily, I understand Commissioner Cantu's concern.
Me too.
Before you adopt an increase in impact fee, you have to have a study in front of you as part of the record before you adopt, justifying the impact fee increase. Before you adopt an impact fee increase over a phased period, you have to have 2 public hearings regarding the extraordinary circumstances that necessitate a phase-in. The statute does not expressly require that when you have that workshop, the study is available. However, if people are making public records requests for a public record, they're entitled to a public record. So I don't know if the record exists or not, but that would be a different question. So I don't think we're going to have a lawsuit if prior to your adoption of an impact fee increase, you have had the opportunity to see a study, and the study shows that the legal requirements for an impact fee are met under the dual rational nexus test that applies in Florida law. And if you're going to do a phase-in, you've had 2 workshops in which you've discussed the extraordinary circumstance. I think Drew's correct. If you decide as a policy matter that before you have that workshop, you want to have a draft study available for the public to review, you could make that decision. That's discretionary on your part.
Because I've received calls from folks who are from the business community who are concerned that they haven't seen the study.
And the report will be finished or furnished ahead of any commission action when we receive the completed version of it. What I was referring to is what you've seen is the fee structure, the cost that would be incurred by the developers.
I would like to make a motion that a study is furnished to the business community and the commissioners before any community meetings happen. because they should, before any workshop or whatever you want to call it, you have to have 2 by law. They should have that study before it is. And I know what you guys are doing. I mean, everybody can read it on the wall. You're rushing this through because of the
I'm
new.
curious of that
Okay,
myself.
well,
That's the
someone
debate.
is doing it. It feels like it to the community. It feels like it to me. It's being rushed through because of that new impact law. But let's get it right and do the right thing for our residents, so we're not being accused of doing something that maybe we're not doing, but it feels like it.
Yeah, but I do want to say to those particular comments, the city of Daytona Beach has been looking at impact fees for many years, and you all put together a request for proposals to hire someone for impact fees. So to say that staff members or someone is rushing, I don't think that is very good, because this is being done based off direction that staff receive from the elected body to move forward. And and to be clear, if the decision is made, because we do work at the direction of the commission, we don't have a problem for that. But when you say just give the report to the business community, I believe that we just need to make the report available to the citizens of Daytona Beach and make sure that also they are all getting the same information at the same time, to make sure that we create a destination for the quality of life for residents, but also for businesses to also thrive. And so staff has been working with Raftellus, the consultants that were hired by the city. And so if the decision is made to postpone the workshops, that will be at the discretion, and we'll make sure that the entire report is given out at the same time. But be assured, as stated by the statute, we could not allow for you all to vote on something without having that report presented in a timely manner. And so we will do that. We have phase approaches for this. If you remember from the workshop, we had phase approaches are exact. The reason things change is because the commissioners requested for increases in certain areas of the impact fees. And so staff went through that process, giving information back to Raftellus. And we did not want to just have out draft documents that are not accurate going different places. And we were waiting on the actual final report. And so we don't have a problem if you all decide that you want us to push the meetings back. We can push the meetings back and go from there, because we do want to get it right. We want our business community to be able to continue to thrive here, and we want our citizens to have quality of life. Their roads are improved, just like you all talked about for Tomoka Farms. Our parks are improved, our public safety is improved. So if you all make a decision, we'll go down that road, and when the report is completed, we'll make sure that we not only just send it out to different groups, but it's posted on all of our platforms.
Mr. Feature, thank you. And it just makes the residents feel that way. It makes me feel that way. I can't even get the report. So I think it would be in our best interest to postpone those workshops till they actually get a study and look at it in the commission. So I'm happy you brought that up, and totally agree. And my motion is still on the floor, if I can get a second.
Second.
Thank you.
Okay, we got a motion, we have a second. And I don't disagree with that, and I don't mind saying that I do want to get this done now.
Correct.
So, they don't have any problem cramming things down our throats from Tallahassee. So we have to do whatever we can to maintain whatever limited purview we have of home rule. So I'm not gonna say that I don't want to get it done. Staff doesn't have to say it, I'll say it. Okay. So we have a motion, we have a second. We don't have any public comments? No public comments? All right, all those in favor? And is there a time period between these meetings that we have to have? No. We can have them one week and the next week?
Yes, we can literally have them. We can have one on the Tuesday and another on the Wednesday.
At the end of the day, from my perspective, once we get the information and the business community gets the information, whether we've had this meeting or not, they really have the purview to make whatever influence they're going to have anyway, because their influence is going to be with us.
And once the report is out, we will, as staff, go forward with trying to set up meetings and posting those meetings and making them available. So if the report comes out Monday and you all get it, we may say the following week we're going to put in a meeting at, I won't say the location because it'll be in the paper.
Yeah, that's right. Yes, okay. All right, we got a motion and a second. All those who are in favor, let it be noted by saying aye.
Aye.
Those who are opposed, same sign. Motion carries 6-0.
Can I continue?
Yes.
Okay. I think I brought it up. I don't know if you've seen the video on social media. I forget the guy's name, Marcus. I don't know what his name. I can't remember. But he puts up all this stuff, videos about a lot of these roads, like on US 1, which is DOT, A1A, and he blames Daytona Beach, the commission up here, the mayor. Well, he had a video up there, and I just want to let you know, because I did bring it up the last commission meeting, that that was a DOT road, even though we were being blamed. We've been keeping up with our sidewalks and our roads, but we get blamed for other counties and state. Well, want to let everyone know the area is over by Armstrong Ellis, the attorney, over by Fairview on US 1. FDOT will have a contractor out on US 1 tomorrow repairing sidewalks, because they are state. The other thing is, this is kind of good news. We have an employee that works in Public Works. His name is John Tucker. I believe he's been with us for 18 years. His father was the sheriff here, James Tucker, in 1953. He was the youngest sheriff as well. He was 28. And he was the first sheriff to hire the first black person, which was Carl Brinkley, and the first woman deputy, which he was given a hard time. And there's an article in the Daytona Times talking about Carl Brinkley was talking about it, because he only served for 4 terms. But he did a lot. He was a Volusia County school teacher. I'm trying to remember everything he did. He drowned at, I think it was 47, trying to save a little girl. And at the time, he was running for judge. He was an attorney here. He graduated from Stetson. But I've been working on this project because we do have a road named after Carl Brinkley in Daytona. Well, his son always wanted some kind of memorial or road. So I actually was working with David Santiago on the council. And last night I went there, and Tomoka Farms Road, there's going to be a memorial there by where the flea market is, and one by 444 of Carl Brinkley. So there will be a ceremony unveiling of this sign coming up, and I will let you guys know. So I hope you
It's going to be of Carl Brinkley?
I'm
Or
not
it's
Carl
Tucker?
Brinkley.
Tucker.
Sorry, Tucker. Sorry.
Uh-huh.
I've got
It's okay.
Carl
John
Brinkley.
Tucker.
But there's some interesting articles, like this one from the city of Daytona Beach. It was from the chief of police. His last name was Allen at the time. It was 1956. It says, "Dear Sheriff Tucker, please accept the sincere thanks and appreciation of myself and every member of this department for your service rendered by you and your men during a riot on the beach last Saturday night. Without your aid and assistance, this unfortunate occurrence would have been much more difficult for all of us, and we are deeply in debt to you and your department for the cooperation and invaluable assistance you rendered. If you can ever be of service to you at any time, please feel free to call me." Actually, he hired the first 3 black deputies. He did because Mary McLeod is the one that got a hold of him because she was having a hard time. And then after Tucker hired, a lot of people said, "Oh, they don't have any arresting power." He said, "Oh, yes, they do." So he was a pretty amazing man. I mean, there's a lot he did. It's just, I can't even say how much he did in such a short time.
I chuckled at that because it was a riot on the beach.
Yeah, close to Main Street, I guess.
So it didn't just get rowdy over there.
So we would like you to attend to
That's the
that
point.
unveiling too, if you can.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
So-
Thank you for sharing that. That's
Okay,
great.
You're welcome.
Yeah, yep. Commissioner Danette Henry, Zone 5.
It is that time of year. for our Veterans of the Year tribute, which is one of my absolute favorite things to do, is to honor our veterans. It's going to be on Saturday, June 7th at 7 p.m. at the band shell, of course. And this is what Stacy and myself do annually to support and honor those who have served our country. So you can join Stacy, myself, and Senator Tom Wright and some other dignitaries at the Daytona Beach Oceanfront Band Shell for a special tribute to our local veterans. They're going to have a flyover, a free concert at 7:15, a Best of Rod Stewart free concert. So if you like Rod Stewart, and I love Rod Stewart, that will start at about, the fireworks will be at 9:45, and then the concert will be at 7:15 p.m. How many veterans are we honoring? 10. We're honoring 10 veterans from our area. So it is a wonderful opportunity. The food is good. You can come over, come help us honor the veterans in our city who have served our country. So the Gold Star Moms will be there, so they will get their quilts of valor, and it's just such a sight to see. It's just such a warm, wholesome, loving feeling to see those people get their honor while they're still here, and we can give them their flowers while they're yet still here. And that is all my, the other thing is I'd like some information on where we are and if we've started looking at ideas and plans and actually moving forward with Derbyshire Park. I'm going to talk about Derbyshire Park every single commission meeting because it's time to move forward. It's time to get some things going. Derbyshire Park is our most used park in the county. And therefore, it requires and it needs and it deserves the love that it gives back to the community. It should look like what it gives to the community. And that is my final comment. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Paula R. Reed, Zone 6.
Why you gotta call everybody middle name?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to remind the citizens who live in the Fremont area that Commissioner May, myself, and Commissioner Paris will be joined by Chief Jakari Young for part 2 of our joint community meeting that will take place this Tuesday on May 27th at 6 p.m. at Master's Domain Church of God in Christ at 511 Fremont Avenue. Reverend Derek, help me, Harris is the pastor. Chief Young promised that he would come back within 6 months to provide a report based on the first meeting and the complaints that they had, and this is that meeting. Also, the last Midtown concert for the year will be held on May 31st at Daisy Stocking Park. Line dancing begins at 6:30. The concert will take place from 7 to 9, and it's Shamanic Roots is the name of the band. I've never heard of them, but I will, of course, be there. Tomorrow evening, Volusia League of Cities will have its monthly dinner or bi-monthly dinner, and our city manager, Mr. Fiacher, will be honored with a Hometown Hero Award. And I believe I saw an email today that stated that all of us had agreed we were coming. I know that's not true. But if you are free and they are not listening to my notes.
I'm trying to figure out why I couldn't come. I knew I had planned to come, but I said I could go. Sorry. Go ahead.
I will continue.
Sorry about that.
So tomorrow evening at DeLand at their lovely facility that they have there on MLK Boulevard, we'll be there. I'm sure Commissioner Strickland's going. He's not going either.
He's not able to attend.
Yes, it's in Deltona. It's in Deltona. Okay, it'll be me and Mr. Fiacher.
Deltona?
It's in Deltona.
Oh, I'll be there.
You'll be there? Ah, all right. Well, you said move right along. These my men. I want to share something with you all. The world is flat. I went to see Lion King on Thursday night, and it was beautiful at Dr. Phillips Arena in Orlando. It was HBCU night and Greek night. And if you had on your university's attire, then people, of course, asked you what organization you were in and vice versa. And this one couple that I met, I dressed my aunt as a Wildcat because, I went as a Delta, right? Okay. So they came over and they asked us if we knew a couple, but first they named the husband and we didn't know the husband, but then they named the wife. And I was like, that's my line sister. I said, does she travel all over the world for Disney? And he said, yes. His wife worked with her at Disney. His first wife, unfortunately, had succumbed to cancer, so I was meeting the second wife. He took a picture of us, and he sent it to her. Well, she was in Paris, but when she rolled over and saw his name, she assumed it was an emergency, so she answered and said, what are you doing with my line sister? The world is really flat. It really, really is. I want to tell you that the Boys and Girls Club Gala was something to behold. I am so glad that Dr. Kamisha Whitaker Samuel is back in Daytona Beach. I mean, we've got some folks that are going to really, really just add to our city. As an undergrad at Bethune-Cookman, I knew her as our SGA president at Bethune-Cookman. I've known her for quite some time. I sold Mary Kay back in the day, and I did her face for her first wedding. She is a dynamo, and it's an honor for her to be in our city. And our young people through that program are truly going to be blessed. And proud to say that there is a Boys and Girls Club in Zone 6 at the Dickerson Center. Also, on Friday night, that's what took place. But Commissioner Strickland did not do justice, and I know you'll probably say something as well, Mr. Mayor. I almost sent my tape of you. Saturday night, the first inaugural girls daddy and daughter dance sponsored by the Daytona Beach chapter of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, and we have some representatives here tonight. Mr. Charles Bryant, that we all know as one of our retirees, and Mr. L.A. Robinson. Those two gentlemen led their chapter to an event that was just out of this world. You should have seen those little ladies. They looked like they were going to the prom. The ages were supposed to be from 5 to 12, but we took them. I didn't care what age they were. 2, 3 couldn't talk. They came. And they were just little darlings. They really, really were. And you should have seen them. They thought they had business. They were talking to each other. They were dancing with each other. They were dancing with their daddies. I even caught the mayor and his daughter. Y'all should have seen the mayor. He had on a black tuxedo with a pink tie and a pink cummerbund, and his daughter had on a pink gown.
His dancing was amazing.
It was. He was at the whole hands.
Now,
I did interview.
I know what his dancing looks like.
Oh, he did well that night. It was daughter dancing, so they held hands and rocked from side to side. and twirled. But the room, I tell you, you know how I feel about these gymnasiums. But Charles Bryant's sister-in-law turned that room into something special. She had humongous flowers she'd made out of tulle that were in pink and blue, the beautiful live flowers on the tables, and they made sure they fed a meal that young people would like. So it was spaghetti, and you had a choice of noodles between Alfredo and chicken or regular spaghetti sauce. I interviewed a young lady, and I didn't have permission from her parents to share it, but I asked her did she like the event, and she said yes. I said, if we do this again next year, will you be back? She said yes. I said, well, how was the music? She said, well, some of those songs I didn't know. And I said, okay. She said, but the ones that I knew, I danced. I said, yes, I think I saw you on the dance floor. And, oh, yeah, I got it. I interviewed her. And it was just something to behold, particularly when you come up with an idea and it really works. Wouldn't you agree? I mean, you wouldn't have thought that room was the gymnasium of the Cherry Center had you seen it. It was just absolutely something for those girls to remember, because that father-daughter relationship is very special. Our fathers are the first men that we love, and they need to show us how to be loved and how to be gentlemen. And those young ladies were treated like gentlemen that night. And I'm going to tell you, the Kappas had some rules now. Those brothers weren't supposed to come up in there unless they had on a tie or a jacket. And we let a few of them in. L.A. Robinson even went home and got ties for gentlemen. Because if those little girls were going to be looking like princes, they should have been brought in by a king, So this is something that we're going to look forward to every year, I'm sure. Those young ladies are going to look forward to it. And I applaud those gentlemen for what they did. Even the Kappas look good. They had their little red jackets on with their little crested jackets and everything. It was really something to behold. It really, really was. And I know that we probably changed some lives that night. We really, really did. And even if it wasn't their father, we had grandpas. We had one gentleman that drove all the way from Brunswick, Georgia, to bring his granddaughter. And they were about to leave because she was disappointed that her father wasn't there. But they took her outside and they talked to her and they brought her back in. And I said, baby, it doesn't matter. Somebody's here for you tonight. Whether it's granddaddy, daddy, uncle, somebody's here with you tonight. And she came back in and had a great time. So it really, really was nice. I just want to wish everyone a blessed and safe Memorial Day weekend, and to remember those who allowed us to be free, because freedom is not free. That concludes my comments.
Very well said.
I just want to add that the event on May 31st for the MLK Bus will be held at Dickerson Center. So it's in the community. All right, thank you. 10 o'clock. Thanks.
Okay. Okay. Commissioner Reed is right about the daddy-daughter dance. It was one of the most pleasurable experiences that I have had as mayor, and because it was both personal and public. And when you can bring those two things together as a public official, that is the beauty of it all, because that's when your work intersects, especially when you were born here. You know, I was born here, so I don't really know another community, and I don't have a greater aspiration in life than to see this community reach its potential. And I do that for a lot of reasons. My work in doing that is personal, and it's about my children. But I don't do anything for my children that I don't do for all children. Every goal that I have as mayor, it usually begins because I look at what my children have access to, and then I want every other child to have access to that. Now, certainly mine don't have as much access as some others, but when I see them have access to something, and then I see that light bulb go off, then it's my goal to figure out how I can get that to someone else. So the other night, and I didn't have anything to do with this. When I say nothing, I had nothing to do with this. My daughter came home and asked me if I would take her. She came home. I didn't come home and ask her if she wanted to go. And of course, when she came home and asked me, I said yes, of course. Didn't look at my calendar, didn't care what was on my calendar. So I went and I sat down and I thought about what this experience was going to be like. And my wife did all of the things that she does to make us presentable and a civilized family. You know, despite my reluctance to be so civil. And, but, you know, we have to follow along. So she did her thing, and then we had the experience. There were several parts about this experience that were beautiful. The whole process of watching your child get dressed and get prepared and be excited, and the giddiness of it all was just like it was completely seraphic. So we go to the experience and go to the event, and we get there after driving and having dialogue and listening to her radio station and not mine. You know, because I planned every little detail out about how I was going to treat her. Because normally she has to ride and listen to me and what I listen to. But this occasion was about her. So we got there, and then, of course, this child is the one that knows everybody, and everybody knows her. So she enjoyed being on my arm, but it wasn't long before she was all over the dance floor, just dancing and having a good time with her friends. Then she come back and check on me, but the beauty of it was it wasn't there. It was all of the other men and fathers and women who watched and doted on their daughters. And that was what I wanted to see, because I already knew how I felt about mine. But the beauty was to see how the other folks felt about theirs, and then to be able to hug them and enjoy that moment with all of them, And then the funny thing was, the brothers who I knew, meaning African American, couldn't dance. We didn't know how to dance, and we sat off talking, and then we knew some of the other gentlemen who were not of African American persuasion, but he knew how to dance. And that brother took all of us together and made sure that we could dance in symmetry together. It was a magnificent occasion. And when I left, I left excited about next year. My first question to my daughter in the car was, would you like to do it again? Oh, yes. And I have already started to plan. Because next year is going to be better, because I've already started to think about what my gifts for her are going to be. Because this year I didn't meet my standard. But next year, sister's going to be dolled up in ways that she's never experienced. So the point is, gentlemen, one of the best, most creative events and most important, and one that didn't leave me to tears, just left me with great joy. And I'm on board. I told the fellas to be a supporter next year.
Mr. Mayor.
100%.
If you would like, since I teach professional ballroom and Latin dancing, and I've also taught at cotillions, right? If this is something that interests you, I'm willing to promote that along with you. And what I would do is I would maybe sponsor an evening where they could come in with their fathers, and I would actually provide a complimentary lesson. And if it goes well, we could do 2. And then they would be able to actually dance with their daughters in a more formal way. I'd be happy to do that for you.
Yeah, I would be happy to partake in that, and I know some of the other men would be happy to partake in that. So sign me up.
That's beautiful. I don't think you can save him, but I think that's a beautiful gesture. I really do.
Well,
there is no hope.
Well, I don't disagree with my sister that there is no hope. But when it comes to my girl, I will try anything. And it don't matter if I look good. See, right now, it doesn't matter to her if I can dance. Now, she's going to learn, even though she watched our Christmas dance video of the family, and then she said, "What were you doing?" But it don't matter. So, but I think that's a wonderful gesture, and look forward to it. Yeah, it adds to it. Yeah, it really is. So you guys figure out how you can set that up, and then let us daddies know so we can go to the session. And sign me up. Y'all just sign me up. I'm on board. I found some money that I'm gonna give to that. I already found it. Because I go through that money, that ARPA money, with a fine-tooth comb. People think that it's because there's a lot of it sitting there that it's not spent, but it is. But I found some for y'all. Okay. Okay, that was number 1. Well, I had one of the best weeks of my life as mayor. So on Monday, I went to Turie Elementary for the debate club. You all remember we had that as a part of the mayor's literacy initiative, where I watched 2 teams debate the value of whether a person should buy a car or a house. Of course, I went in believing that you should buy a house. And most of the adults who sat adjacent to me went in believing the same thing. The debate winners, and I see Ms. Bonner, she was present. The debate winners were actually, the winning side was the side that said you should buy a car first. But it was a wonderful debate that went back and forth and had you on the edge of your seat, not knowing which way you were going to go. And then I had a conversation with my son on the way to school the other day, and he sided with that side as well, and was able to give reasons why he felt that way. So, but it was a wonderful experience. Then yesterday, I went to Westside Elementary, where Commissioner Henry and I went to school many moons ago. And I was one of the speakers for their 5th grade graduation ceremonies and program, and it was magnificent. Then I got to work today, and I looked on their webpage, and the students that I have now were the student speakers that they had. So I'm working with the students now who went back to speak at that school, and it was just like this one kid who's one of my kids got 3 5s on his FSA. 3 5s, y'all. That's pretty impressive. So I look on their page, and I look and I say, that's Lee. And it was him, and he had gone back to be the speaker. So I called him into my office and just told him. He came back and he says to me, my mama told me that we're cousins. I say, boy, we ain't cousins, but if your mama say we're cousins because you act like me, you kind of look like me, we're going to be cousins. And so we can tell everybody we're cousins. So that was magnificent. Then today, I went to First Step, not to First Step, but to the Windsor Melee, where I hosted a dinner for 21 graduates of First Step who now live at the Windsor and Melee. They graduated to live in the Windsor and the Melee, so we catered a meal. They decorated the room, brought them in, and the room was beautiful. The food was awesome, and we told them why we as a city invest in them. Not simply because we don't want people to be homeless, but because we need everybody in our community to be able to contribute what they can contribute to the community. And you can't contribute to the community at your best when you are homeless. And because you are now, or you are no longer homeless, and you are moving towards the abundant life, today we celebrate what you've accomplished, and we celebrate where you're going to go. And then we had a conversation, my son who was sitting next to me, with a guy, because I went around and talked to every person in the room about their situation. Well, one guy says to me, he says, it came down, I became homeless because it came down to 2 things. I had to pay my rent, or I had to pay for my truck. And he said, I paid for my truck because I could sleep in my truck. I could work with my truck. And everything that I did this week came full circle. Everything that I did came full circle in that moment because I understood the totality of what we were experiencing from not only when I was at Westside, because when I was at Westside, one of the parents rushed out to me after I spoke, and she said to me, she said, my daughter, and I'll never forget this, passed her nursing exam. And she said, and she did that all because of you. And I thought to myself, first of all, I know that's an overstatement. She said, no, my daughter was in your office 10 years ago, and they wanted to expel her because you knew that she was vandalizing the school, tearing it up. And they wanted to expel her, but you wouldn't let them. You told me that you saw something in her. You saw something, you saw greatness in her. She said she's failed this test multiple times, but today is the day that she just called me. She said, I left out of there while you were speaking to go out and dance and praise Jesus. But she passed her test today. And 10 years ago, you wouldn't expel her because you saw something in her. She said that what you saw came to life today. So all of that and when you work in your hometown, I keep seeing it. It happens every week now. Everything keeps coming into the circle, all of it. So I have the best job that I could ever have. I never dreamed that it would be this good on both fronts as I continue to burn the candle on both ends. Honored to be your mayor. Mr. Manager?
Yes, I'm glad that the police chief is a track star. I seen him go out. He wanted to make some comments on during my portion, and I don't have any comments.
All right.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and Commissioners. Chief Tacoy Young. I just wanted to briefly address a concern that was brought before you guys during the last commission meeting, and it was in reference to the open-air drug market in the 700 block of North Seagrave. So first, that is definitely a valid complaint, and in response, we've run a couple operations specifically targeting that area. So I just kind of wanted to go over those stats from these operations that we've run. So we made 6 felony arrests. 1 was for a warrant for out of state, 2 for possession of cocaine, 1 for trafficking in fentanyl and destroying evidence, and 1 for possession of paraphernalia. Also, we made 2 prostitution arrests. That was the first operation. The second operation was conducted on May 15th from the hours of 1 p.m. to 6 p.m., where a total of 7 arrests were made. 3 of those arrests were felonies for 2 prior convictions, and then the other 3 were specifically in that area of Kingston and Seagrave. So do I think that those couple operations is going to solve the problem in itself? Absolutely not. So we're not one and done. We're going to continue to work that area. So we will be still working that area in conjunction with a lot of other areas that currently require our attention. Also, we have been receiving complaints about the Belleville and Clyde Moores corridor in reference to panhandling, trespassing on the property around the shops of Belleville. So I just kind of wanted to go over those stats as well, because this is the Dollar Tree, the Walgreens, Dutch Brothers Coffee, the 7-Eleven, and all the other shops in the Publix Plaza where we've been receiving these complaints. So far we have a total of 4 felony arrests. They range from possession of personal IDs, and how they come across those is during car breaks, and they'll steal the IDs from the cars, and we located them in a transient camp in the area. Possession of cocaine. We also made 4 misdemeanor arrests. We issued 8 citations and 15 pedestrian stops, all conducted in that area, while we also work on the speeding complaints inside of Pelican Bay from the meeting that we attended last week.
I just want to tell you, whatever you've done, it's amazing at Publix right now. It was getting really bad, and I keep going through, waiting, trying to find, and I don't see nothing going on.
So we're going to continue to stay on that as well. And then Commissioner Reed already mentioned it. October 3rd of 2024, we held a community meeting at Masters Domain, 511 Fremont Avenue, and it was in reference to the same complaints that we were dealing with in the 700 block of Seagrave, but these are further south. So we had the community meeting, and I promised 6 months later, I'm a month behind, that we would reconvene and we would go over all of our efforts to improve that area. So it's all set for May 27th to go over what we've done. We have a full PowerPoint where we're going to go over everything that we've done to try to improve that area. But that area is, again, also still a work in progress. So.
All right. Any questions? Thank you. Appreciate that, Chief.
Chief, thank you. Can I get a copy of that for my residents with the complaints? Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Nothing.
No comments? All right. We'll hear from the residents of Daytona Beach.
Okay, our first speaker is Felicia Bezo, and on deck is Charles Bryant.
Good evening, good night. Glad to see you. Okay, I'm here with Miss Hargrave and Miss Bonner DeVita. We have been running a Literacy and Leadership Academy for the past 10 years in Volusia County, serving the Daytona area, the DeLand area, and the Deltona area. It's a total of 173 children. They get 10 books, not 10 books, 6 books to read, and there's the leadership side of it. I'd like more of you to speak at this event as it starts June 9th. Whole purpose is to help them believe, to dream, believe, and achieve, to open up the doors and possibilities to them, and that they can, and they do. All the kids that have gone through this program have graduated from high school. We have no fights, we have no cursing, no disruption at all in these academies. So there's something that we're doing that is successful. We need more money, and I'm here to talk to you about that. I actually was sent by the commission last week. Ms. Hargett is going to talk about her son. You will never believe how wonderful these young, well, you would, you know.
I do.
You have to see the light, and you have to let it shine and move them forward. It's not just about reading words, it's about writing and speaking as well, because that's usually where the problem is. They can't express themselves, and so therefore they deviate into other ways of expression. So when we are able to do that, you see a different kind of person. You see a person with focus, a person that is motivated and does what they need to do to get out of high school. They're going to college, they're lieutenants in the military, Army, Navy, and Air Force. And we actually have one that's going to be I'm going to stop right here. It's going to be a Top Gun. Go ahead. Sorry.
Quickly with the time. So I was able
Well, you get your own time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
so
you.
I was blessed to be able to be a facilitator last year, which is a teacher at Mainland, and I was able to teach 7th grade reading. Those students who had a fear of reading, after I was able to instruct them, they came out of their fear. They want to read more. We were able to take them to field trips, and as they read the Hidden Figures book, we were able to go to the NASA. And so they were inquiring because they had read the book. And my son, he attended, my youngest son, and he didn't know what he wanted to be. But because he attended, small businesses come every week in our community. So someone from Daytona State spoke to him, and I guess woke up the welding part in him. So now he's a junior facilitator. He's teaching, assisting reading this summer, and he's going to Daytona State with a scholarship to become in the welding program because he attended the program. And so that's why I came to speak with her that this program does work.
It does work. It connects the dots for them, and you all inspire them when you come through to talk to them. Your words, your story, they connect with, and that moves them forward because they feel stuck. They feel like they're in prison in the school systems because they don't see themselves. They don't see anything that is interesting to them as far as they're concerned. So I'm asking if there's any way that you all can help us to do so.
I was there last year.
You sure were.
And I don't know, was I a speaker or observer?
You were a speaker.
Well, I felt like an observer. I might have spoken to them, but they spoke to me. I remember it, and I saw young men that I knew in other settings on stage speaking and projecting and standing up with confidence and articulating what their values about a lot of different things. My experience was really, really positive.
Thank you.
I took away and planned for this moment when you guys would come. So I've already put away $5,000 for you all. Yeah, so I have that. I did that from last year when I went because it was that good. And what you're doing, I mean, the depth. First of all, you got to look at the amount of time that you're spending with kids.
6 weeks.
6 weeks, and you got them there from 8 to 2:30.
2:30. They're worn out.
6.5 hours of time where children do not have time to sit around and do this. They're not sitting around doing this, clicking and
And getting
plotting
into
on this,
trouble.
and they're not out getting into trouble, getting in anything. And you're talking about, what's the age of the children?
10 to 14.
The most vulnerable age that we have.
The ones
10
that
to
nobody
14.
wants to deal with.
But it's not only that, it's the quality of what I saw.
Yeah.
So I didn't forget it. I was waiting for you to come this year.
Thank you.
Because I went home and I said, oh, I'm going to be ready for them. What I would like for you to do from my perspective is, this is money that has been appropriated through the Mayor's Literacy Initiative. So I would like for you to send an invoice to us by email.
Okay.
And I, we took money from the ARPA funds to do that. So I'm ready for you.
Thank you so
and I'm going to go back and look and see how else I can help you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
You were
Okay.
talking earlier about the children and their fathers.
Mhm.
And, through the mentoring, we mentor kids for 9 years throughout the county as well. And one of the things these kids have said when they've graduated is the thing that most intrigued them was watching the adults. Especially when they were at gatherings, they would watch the adults come in, holiday time, when we're doing the Christmas thing, for example. Adults would come in with the little ears on their head and cakes and ice cream, and they would be so festive. And the kids would just stand back and watch them. We must always remember that children are always watching us. We must remember. So the connection is with adults, not other children, but with adults.
Yeah. And the adults that you have working, including this one, but I had another one of my students there last year. But the adults that you have supervising the children, they make such a deep connection. And then what I would recommend is that when you have that, the day that you had me to come, the finale, I think I came to the finale.
Yes.
I would recommend that you invite all of the commissioners so that they can see and experience the finale, because I don't know, I'm sure every other day, because you don't get to what I saw without doing the work to get there. So I'm with you.
Thank you so
Okay.
very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for hearing us. Appreciate it.
Our next speaker is Charles Bryant, and on deck is Jacob Brush.
Good evening, Mayor, City Commission, City staff. I'm here on behalf of the Brothers of Daytona Beach Alumni Chapter Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. Thank you for doing a wonderful job on selling us this afternoon, Mayor and Commissioners. We're here today to thank the sponsors for this event. I have a letter, and it's addressed to Commissioner Paula Reed, Commissioner Ken Strickland, Mr. Kenneth Thomas, and Ms. Michelle Tolliver. And it reads, to whom it may concern, on behalf of the Brothers of the Daytona Beach Alumni Chapter Kappa Alpha Psi Incorporated, I would like to personally thank you for your sponsorship of the 2025 Father-Daughter Dance. The dance was an enormous success and exceeded expectations of those who attended, especially the young ladies and their escorts. The magic of the father-daughter dance created a special bond between father and daughter and will have an immeasurable impact on their relationship forever. It was especially pleasing to see young ladies interact with their fathers or their father figures. So when we combined getting all dolled up and spending time with one of your favorite people, it was a blast. The anticipation kicked off the night with the magic factor of the big, beautiful production, which made it seem more special. The theme enhanced forest. The food was excellent as well. This was the first dance for some of the young ladies, and more importantly, this dance meant the world to them. It demonstrated that their fathers are interested in participating in activities with them and consider them deserving of the attention and care they received on that evening. We look forward to next year's event. Again, thank you, and Mayor Henry, it was especially exciting for me because one of the fathers who brought their daughter, he was 98 years old.
I was gonna say.
And he brought his daughter and got out on the dance floor and danced. And he knew how to dance, Commissioner May. He set the tone for these young ladies. And they did some dancing I know I can never do, but they put the boots on the ground. So we look forward to next year, and we appreciate all the support that you've given us and continue to give us as we do projects in this area. We intend to do some more. We're going to work with Commissioner Reed for the senior prom this year. We're going to bring it back to life again. And any other activities that we as brothers of the Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, we would love to work with the city. I worked here for almost 21 years, so I'm willing to come back and help. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Jacob Brush, and on deck is Carmen Clark.
Good evening. My name is Jacob Rush. I'm here to represent for Carlton Shores Health and Rehab. We're a 118-bed nursing home over near Bevel Road and Nova Road. And 2022, we experienced a flood during Hurricane Ian, and we had to evacuate. It was 2 long years of remodeling and getting back in. The residents were all displaced in other facilities. We then experienced Milton just about the time we were ready to move back in. And then we experienced some more flooding, which prolonged everything. Anyways, just last month, we finally entered the facility, got to bring some of our residents back from other facilities that had been displaced for 2 years. So we're back in. We're living life. The residents are happy to be back, growing our census and business as usual. But now we're facing hurricane months coming up. So I'm just here tonight to. I had a pretty good conversation with Shannon, the director of utilities that was here earlier, and she enlightened me on a lot of things that the city's been doing. I know the Army Corps of Engineers is performing a study right now that's not due to be up with results until January of next year. So that's going on. But I guess I just wanted to just kind of address the question I've never been able to get from anybody in the community, just through conversations or anybody I've spoken with. Is anything being done in that area to alleviate any of the floodings? For the future? I do know on our property, the Nova Canal is on the other side of the street of Nova, and there is there's a pipe that goes. It's an overflow that comes over and dumps right into our property. Of course, it's good that it's there in the event that we do have a little bit of flooding because it flows over to the Nova Canal and goes. But then when the Nova Canal exceeds its limits, like during the last floods, then all that water comes over and just ends up right on our property, where we had 2.5-3 feet of water in the facility during Ian. So I just kind of propose that if there's any way maybe to put a waste gate there that could alleviate that. I don't know. I mean, I know the Army Corps of Engineers probably, can evaluate everything and come up with some really good ideas, hopefully. But I just didn't know if anybody else has been thinking of things like that. Again, we also have 2 acres of wooded property that we could utilize towards a retention pond.
Thank you, sir. Your time has expired.
Mayor, may I? If you could give me your name and number and your exact address. And DOT is cleaning all those canals, and I can answer some more of those questions for you. What's happening with the Nova Road Canal?
Sure.
And this might help you too. Supposedly, because I was in a presentation to everyone, This year, the hurricane season is not going to, supposedly not going to be, don't hold me to this, not going to be as bad, and it's going to be more wind this year than. This is what it was in my presentation.
Knock on the wood there, please.
So more wind than rain, but I can get some of that information and maybe help you with that pipe.
I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for your
Thank you.
Okay, our next speaker is Carmen Clark, and on deck is John Nicholson. And there is that button there if you need to lower the podium. Right by your hand. Yep. There you go.
All right. Before you start my time, I just want to say, piggyback off of how awesome you are, because my son was at Mainland and you stepped in
Yeah, I believe
at
in it.
time of need. And that's something we will always remember. He always remembers that.
Yeah,
So
thank you. Yeah.
I'm here on behalf of Campbell Middle School. We are community partners with Campbell Middle School. Strongly support the principal there, Marcia Owens, and her staff in what they're doing and trying to make Campbell Middle School a better academic environment. Right now, they are planning on a trip to SeaWorld for all 300 students. They have a total of 6 buses, and right now the buses, they got a good deal on it. It's $1,000 per bus. Okay, there was a total of $15,000 they was trying to raise. They haven't gotten quite to that as of yet, but I'm here asking the commission if they can donate some money towards the goal of the trip, so these students will be able to go, because some of these students won't ever be able to go to SeaWorld again, without
How many students you say they're trying to take?
300.
When are they trying to take them?
Okay, I just went blank with the
Mhm.
date. It's coming up very soon because
It's before school is out, or is it?
Yes, before school is out. Yes, because graduation is this Friday,
For the 8th graders?
right? For the 8th graders.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and then that week is
Tuesday
coming
and
up.
Wednesday.
Right, it's coming up, and right before school is out.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, this is last minute. I had intended to come the first Wednesday of the month, but my schedule is so busy. Also, before my time gets up, I'm also inviting you all to Tuesday night at 6 o'clock. They're doing a presentation of The Wiz, which I saw them practice, is going to be so awesome. If someone from the city, can come, and I see that you all do attend a lot of the other schools, but I never hear you mention that you have visited Campbell Middle School.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I visited. Okay, what time is that next week?
Which
Yeah.
one, The Wiz?
Yeah, I went to
6
Campbell.
o'clock, and it's $5, but I'm quite sure you won't be charged.
Well, it's all right. Okay. We'll see what I can do next Tuesday. Okay, I'm not able to support it because I have a list and I need to know before 5 days before the event for me. Who's in charge of this event at Campbell?
Which event?
I'm talking about back on the.
Oh, the SeaWorld trip. The principal and
Okay. The principal's in charge. Okay.
Okay.
I have to
Because
look
Ms.
and
Owens did say that she had mentioned it and she got negative feedback.
She mentioned it to who? Okay. This is my first time hearing about it.
I'm not saying it was mentioned to you,
Okay.
Mayor Henry.
Yeah.
But
I know,
I'd rather
I'm just
not
saying.
get into it.
Yeah, no doubt.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. I'll look at it and see what I can do.
Okay, well, I appreciate that,
Okay.
you know. Go ahead. I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Can you tell us when is the date? I don't have the date. You drove like
I dropped my sticky out there in the parking lot.
Okay.
Okay.
Trying to get up here, and I looked, I was like, okay.
Yeah,
I don't even have
at
my-
least email it to us.
Okay.
Yeah, so we can kind of
Yeah.
look at it, because I have to look at my numbers and see if I can do anything.
I mean, it'll be greatly appreciated because it's to congratulate the students of the awesome year that they've been having at Campbell Middle School. You know, so
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Why do you say that? Thank you.
Our next speaker is John Nicholson, and on deck is it Kiana Long Hargert?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks, John.
Thank you.
I don't know. John Nicholson, 413 North Granbury Avenue. Paula had mentioned earlier 82,000 as a population. This past week, the stats came out. As of July 1st of last year, we were at 84,000. If the numbers are correct, at 4%, we'll be at 87,000 next month. And we'll be at 90,000 by the time we vote in 2026. If it indeed we must keep the 70,000 figure, if I'm not mistaken, the gentleman said that we were at 72 from the census, but he was going to deduct 2,000 from the population because nobody lives in our river and nobody lives at our airport. Well, yeah, there are kids that live at our airport. We have Emeryville, and yes, we have people living in the ocean, in the river. So I believe our census says 72,000. So if we're going to do our zones, I suggest that we use the number 72 rather than the number 70 that they used last time. Secondly, I'm almost positive that you all realize that we did grow quite a bit since the last census. To do that, I'm asking you to consider legally, you can do a 10%. You can be off by 10%. The 3 zones on the east side are not growing and will not grow. The 3 on the west side have grown and will continue to grow. So when you do the zones, I'm asking that you do, which is legal, a plus 10% for the 3 zones on the east side that are not growing and will not grow, and a minus 10% for those that are on the west side. Because automatically, if you go at the 72 figure, Stacy is not going to be, if they say, okay, you're going to do it at 72, and she comes out as 12,000 people, she will not have 12,000 people in her zone. She already has over 12,000 people who are voters in her zone, let alone living there. So in order to compensate the difference, if we take away 10% from their zone, which is legal, it will compensate for the actual larger number that is out there. And we will, because it will not grow, we will compensate the east side because they will not grow. So it'll balance out until we get to 2026. Secondly, affordable housing, the county just had a, what do you call it? What's the term called? Live Local Act, and they voted it down, all right? The Live Local Act, if you go with actually no taxes from Live Local, it's going to hurt us. If they can do it, I would ask you to look very carefully when the Live Local Act starts coming here, that we look at it very carefully, and if we
Thank
can,
you, John. Your
not to
time
give
has
any money.
expired.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Kiana Long Hargett, and on deck is Jenny Nazak.
Evening, everyone. My name is Kiana Long Hargreaves. I reside at 109 Raceway Point Drive, apartment 107, Daytona Beach, Florida. I'm here in reference to my organization, the Levi Long Sickle Cell Association. Sickle cell, the World Sickle Cell Day was officially recognized by the United Nations on June 19, 2009. So the June 19th day is also World Sickle Cell Day. So we share the day with Juneteenth. I've been before you all before. Ms. Paula Reed has blessed me with some donations to my organization when I had a building on Orange Avenue, which I don't anymore. So now my organization is at my home. But I'm grateful because I'm a part of the national organization. And if you Google the National Sickle Cell Association of America, you put in Florida, you'll see mine at the very top. Last week, I was blessed to be able to be a part of the beginning process of the state of Florida organization. I'm the youngest organization in Florida. They've given me 9 counties. They just gave me Duval County and Baker and Clay counties. So I have a lot of work to do. I'm the youngest one with the most drive. And so what I'm just asking simply tonight, and I'm giving way for questions if you all have any, to just find any money to give me money to go in with the Juneteenth. I'm on the Juneteenth board. Thank you so much. We can't thank you enough for what you do for us every year with the Juneteenth committee. But I sit on the committee, and it's a pleasure to participate with sickle cell to join in that day. And if you all can find some money for me to go in with Juneteenth, I would greatly appreciate it. And I want to leave way for questions.
Anybody have any questions?
I don't have any questions, but if they can, you need to thank us too, because don't we give them like $15,000 from the city for June? What's that? 30?
Oh, wow. See, and I wouldn't know that, but thank you all. Everyone, Miss Cantu, Miss Henry, Miss Reed, Mr. Henry, Mr. Pietro, who's not in here, Mr. Strickland, and Miss May. Thank you all so very, very much. And isn't it a blessing to have your own ways to bless your areas? Yeah. I think that is so cool, how you all have that responsibility. And I'm sorry for the naysayings that you get, but the good will always outweigh the bad. And I greatly appreciate you all for that.
You know you're super
I am. Oh my goodness, yes. So if you all don't have any questions, I just want to say thank you in advance. Whatever funding you all can find, it will just go in with Juneteenth so that I can have a table at the banquet. Mm-hmm. Some people that have sickle cell can come in. Gratefully now there is a cure. Gratefully now that I'm a part of the state of Florida sickle cell, they were looking for someone to send to different spaces, fly them, send them to different spaces to learn and bring it back. I'm able to do that. And actually this Sunday I'm graduating as a navigator, sickle cell navigator. I went 10 weeks and I did the class. I'm graduating Sunday. Okay. So this is my passion in life. So thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Our final speaker tonight is Jenny Nazak.
Good evening, everybody. Jenny Nazak, 501 Harvey. I really love hearing all of your different stories. I love hearing you all talk about different events and things. It's just such a joy. You're a great part of our city. And of course, Daytona Beach is my adopted hometown. Like I just presumed to move here and just be like, okay, it's my adopted hometown. Who does this? Me. But I love it. It's a wonderful, wonderful city. We have so many little gems. I had so much fun at the game night that Commissioner Reed was in charge of, and that was a blast. I've had fun at Tortugas games, went to a Tortugas game on Mother's Day, and they scored like this home run at totally the last minute when we thought it was going into overtime. And when I think of events, I just think of these local things, and I'm excited about the Philippine Festival because I didn't get to make it there. And then I also want to tell you guys about a gem of the community. Many of you probably already know about it, Cinematique Theater. Mm-hmm. Who has not ever been to the Cinematique Theater? It's so cool. There's all these independent films that you can't see anywhere else. And some of them are shedding light on history. Some of them are just fun, artsy films, but it's just so interesting, and it's such a jewel, a great place to hang out. I'm recently appointed to the board of directors, and Ms. Bonner, not here anymore, she's my fellow board of director member. We have a really nice board of directors. It's just really a gem.
And it's rentable.
It's what?
Rentable.
It is rentable. Yes, and it has been rented. Yes, and the new manager director of our theater, Ms. Shanita Brown, she is herself a filmmaker, and she's got many other great assets, talents, and it's just really good energy over there. So hopefully see you over there sometime. Yes. Thank you all. Have a nice evening.
Thank you, Jenny. All right, good night, Daytona Beach.
Blow.